Dear respected facilitator and fellow participants of the English for Migrant Activists Orientation. It's great to see you all again on today of day 2 of our orientation. Thank you for being on time. I hope your energy is still higher like yesterday or even higher. Before we begin today's sessions, let's take a quick look back at what we covered yesterday. And the first session about ASEAN framework on migration, covering general issues around migration in Asian Declaration, and using digital space for advocacy at the Asian level. And Mr. Juari shared about migrant workers' rights, including accommodation, leave entitlements, and more. And then the second session is migration partner and policies in Indonesia, covering existing and missing regulation and violation of migrant rights. We learned about labor migration of Indonesian abroad, policies that govern Indonesian migrant worker protection and placement, types and pattern of migrants by form, time, social ties, motivation, movement, sector, post-migration, and age. Positive impact of migration, and then challenge faced by Indonesian migrant worker and government effort in response. And then the third session is about local organizing and how English skill support advocacy, realities, and on the ground, community organizing, and the need for English. The topic covered is the profile of SBMI, which is Indonesian Migrant Worker Unions, areas where SBMI is active. SBMI work about case and police advocacy, organizing, socioeconomic empowerment, media and campaigns, education and capacity building, as well as research and investigation. Hopefully, those materials are still fresh in your mind. Now let's jump into today's first exciting session, Teaching English for Specific Purpose, ESP, with a focus on learning lesson for specific goals, relevant vocabulary, and real-life scenarios. This session will be facilitated by Ms. Sisilana Diah Poyk from LBI FIB Universitas Indonesia. The floor is yours. Please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Fitri, for the warm welcome. Your English is excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, right. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Sisilana. You can call me Sisil, and I'm from LBI FIB UI. I'm very grateful to have been invited and to collaborate in this amazing initiative. My part in this initiative is as the module designer. Maybe you've taken a look at the module. So my colleague and I wrote the module along with Yoga and colleagues from SBME. With their help, we have tailor-made this module for the program. And in this session, I'm going to share with you what we have in the module and also how we can use it for our teaching. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to use quizzes slides for my presentation. So if you maybe you want to open this on your phone or on your current device, it's okay too. I'll also share a link on the chat box. Please join me on quizzes. Okay, we have Miss Ashanti, Miss Roslina, It's really amazing how everyone is on time on a Sunday morning. That's admirable, to be honest. Okay, let's wait a bit for the other friends to also join. Okay, right. So you can, if you haven't joined, you can just keep trying. I will start. You can still join once we start. So I'll give a brief outline of what my session will cover. We'll take a quick overview of ESP itself, and I will show you how we try to present elements of ESP in the module, and also how you can use the module uh, along the program. So Miss Anisa cannot join the quizzes because you're on a trip, but you'll try to follow through. Okay, that's fine. That's okay, and safe trip. All right. So before we dive into this, I have several questions. Oh, let me. So my first question is, can you write one word that first comes to your mind when you hear ESP? Just one word, because I want to know the initial your initial impression of ESP. Okay, I think we've got some responses. Okay, so we have specific. Yes, it's in the name itself. We have tailored. Wow. Business. Okay. So a lot of ESP courses are usually for people working in business. So yeah, let's see. Let's wait for other keywords, perhaps. Okay. I think most of us are intrigued by the word specific itself, yeah? Alrighty. We will discuss more about this soon. Ooh, okay. Next one, I'd like to know if you've ever taught English for specific purposes before. Have you ever taught an ESP class before? Let's see. Because if some of you have done so, perhaps we can have a person or two share their experiences. Okay, I think I need to. Okay, right. So it's a bit half-half, I think. So we have five friends who have taught an ESP course. Can we have two people share what kind of ESP class it was and how it was? Can you share with us? Maybe you can go ahead and unmute to share. Those who answered yes.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, Miss Ririn, please.
Okay. So I'm teaching ESP for fishery students and also for design communicate actually communicate study program. So I was teaching English for the specific purposes, of course, adjusting to their needs. For example, in fishery students, I teach English related to fishery terms. For example,
Okay.
I I I give them reading
Mm,
about fishery, and also when I ask them to present or to make a presentation, the topic was about the fishery itself. So yeah, it's kind of things like that.
okay, thank you for sharing, Ms. Ririn. Right, so for fisheries students, yeah, and you mentioned adjusting the materials and the topics were on fisheries. Okay. Another person?
Yes, may I share, Miss?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I've been teaching English for specific purposes. I think since the first day I dived into the teaching world, and it's been like lots of specific purposes from English for banking,
Mm,
customer, and then nursery, and then even for IT people. And then currently, I'm also teaching for the sales and finance students, and then yeah, all of the what is that materials are really connected to their job, and my aim is
mm,
always to meet the student apa ya to meet the students objectives. So it's not,
mm,
instead of giving what I know, I would like to give what they need, like that.
mm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Miss Susi
Hi.
Haryanti. Mr. Willie, go ahead.
Yes. Um, because I live in Bali, so I have quite various of the
Mm,
industry, but not particularly in banking. Last time I taught ESB to the staff in Bali International Airport for the mechanic,
oh,
engineer, the manager, because they could not understand different accents from different pilots and also the staff.
mm,
So there were a lot of cases where vocabulary was very important for them. American pilot would use 1500, while the Indonesian staff on the ground, they understand that it's 15,000. So that's quite a gap and it's a huge mistake. So they ask for speaking practice, pronunciation training, and also vocabulary training. But all the materials, it was created by ourselves and a team of teachers. So we didn't use any particular book, but we did have a reference like materials for aviation. But usually, material for aviation is more like customer service, the check-in
mm.
counters, and others. So these mechanic and engineers, they're quite particular. So that was really amazing, but it was tough. It was a really nice experience.
Okay. Right. Thank you for sharing. So
Sure.
many different industries actually. Yeah, we mentioned we heard fisheries, banking, and aviation even. So some of you already have the experience of dealing with the very particular needs of ESP learners, and I'll be sharing with you uh, the same thing that we try to do in the module for migrant activists, actually. Okay, but before that, last question. Not really the last question. I think I'll be asking a lot of questions. Before we start, are there any challenges that you think might come in teaching migrant activists? So even though you're experienced, you must have some things you think, oh, I might need to harbor this. Or if you're not experienced, maybe you're worried about what's to come. Feel free to share the challenges you have in mind. Let me see the.
It's me again. May I?
Yes. So we have background knowledge and then making mistakes in using the sensitive terms, like we were told yesterday. Yes. Hesitance or less participation uh, because of the online class platform. Okay. Differences in initial English proficiency of the participants. Okay. Let's wait for more responses. I think for different proficiency and uh, participation, kind of, hopefully the next sessions will help you address these challenges. Yeah, because the next facilitators will talk about how we can make online classes engaging. Okay, so not really knowing about the correct use of the terminologies. Internet connection, that's a legit concern, I think. Wherever you are, it can still happen. Okay, for the other friends, maybe other challenges? Oop, another one. If I cannot meet their expectation, okay. Okay, so while waiting, let's recap. I think some of the things that I'll be addressing are the background knowledge, again, background knowledge, personal baggage, that's an excellent point, learning styles and interests, and then um, meeting the participants' expectations, terminologies, sensitive terms, right? So, okay. With some of these points, I think, especially with like expectations or learning style, interests, their knowledge, I think we need to know first our learners' profiles, right? So, in order to meet their expectations, we need to know first what are their expectations of the program and what are their needs. Um, what do they use English for at job? So, let me go to the next slide. Nah. So this is I have a cartoon. So there's a person trying to peek into someone else's brain. Maybe one person, can you share? What do you think this cartoon means? So this is related to how ESP works. What do you think is the message? Anyone would like to try? There's no right or wrong answer. Just whatever you think about this cartoon. Okay, so Miss Imelda type transfer knowledge. Okay, great point. I think Miss Lani raised her hand.
Yeah, so it's like transferring everything to somebody else's, but I think teaching is not that simple. So so the cartoon is quite funny as apa ya, especially when these are adults that we work with, because they have like so many backgrounds, so many so many things, like more complicated than teaching kids. Thank you.
Yes, okay, thank you. Right. So, so we assume that this is the teacher, us as teachers, right? And then we're trying to perhaps, yes, transfer knowledge. I think yoga has something here. The other guy looks confused. The guy on the right is trying to diagnose his needs by peeking into his brain. Okay. So, yes, that's actually what it's about in ESP is we as teachers need to know as much as we can about our learners. But in this cartoon, it's like using telepathy, right? You're trying to know your learners' needs by guessing. But fortunately, as Miss Lani mentioned, our learners are adults, so we can actually communicate with them. We can ask them what they need and so on and so forth. So that brings me to the breakdown of ESP. If you're worried that I don't have the knowledge of migrant activism, in ESP, as teachers, I think this is one of the classes where we learn as much as our learners, if not even more than our learners. So the English is what I'm good at as an English teacher, as a proficient speaker. That's why I'm here, right? The specific purposes come from my learners. Who are they? How do they use English at work? And what goals do they have? uh, how do they want to use their English in the future? So, me as an English teacher, my role here is to help them identify this and help them progress towards this. Okay. And along the way, of course, we will also learn about these goals because we want to facilitate them towards these goals. Okay. So needs analysis is a very big part of an ESP course. So as part of the organizer, um, my role in needs analysis was done when I designed the module, when I designed the materials. And of course, through program planning, uh, I've got information from the organizer about who will use the materials. But the needs analysis doesn't stop there, but it continues along with the program. As teachers, you can keep doing this through survey, like I did in the beginning, to know more about your participants' profiles. Or you can simply ask them questions um, or observe them when they're doing the task. Okay, so I will show just one example of how we try to include needs analysis in the module. So this is from Unit 1. In Unit 1, the material is actually quite, what do you call it, yeah? It's not as compact as the other unit because we want to give the teachers opportunities to get more knowledge on the learners' profiles. One of the activities we include is in this speaking. If you see it, it's just what do you call it? An activity for introduction, right? But again, this is ESP for migrant activists. So we put this part. We want them to focus on introducing their organization, where they work, and what they do in their activism. So by including small details like this, you can analyze what they do at work, how they use their English at work, and what they need moving forward. This is just an example of what we try to include in the module. Okay, but of course, as I mentioned previously, you can do other things to keep learning about your learners' needs throughout the program. Okay, so my next presentation will cover other main features of ESP and how we try to include this in the module. So there are three features. The first one is authentic materials. The second is purpose-related orientation. And the last one is self-direction. So I'll go with authentic materials first. Sorry. Okay, so why are authentic materials essential for ESP? Because our participants are adults who work and the classes are in the evening, right? So we want to make the lessons more relevant, more interesting, and therefore more motivating for them because they can see the materials and think, oh, this is something I work with. And then the next reason is because we want to focus on language skills, but also cultural competence, building the knowledge of how this also happens in other places, and using that to reflect on their personal experiences. So in the module, you will see multiple modalities of this, including infographics or posters related to migrant worker issues that we took from authentic sources, such as the UN websites. You can use this to spark discussions in your class. And other than that, we also have political cartoons like the one I used earlier. Okay, so you can also check using this, you can also check what kind of topics interest your learners. And we have text taken from authentic sources, and also videos. But for text, of course, we have what you call that, we have adapted them because we want to also present a certain language or vocabulary like this one in the example. Right. So that's on authentic materials. Now, the second one is purpose-related orientation. So what this means is how the module is organized is that every exercise, every activity we include in the module, we try to build up kind of like smaller steps to a bigger real-life goal. So I take this as an example from Unit 2. The goal is for learners to eventually report their personal or group experiences related to activism for equality. And then in the unit, the step-by-step is to first read articles about similar cases. So that builds on their topical knowledge and also again reflect, maybe after reading they can think, oh, I've worked with similar cases to this, I've had similar experiences I can talk about. And on the second step, we want to focus on the terms. You mentioned the terminologies. So there are certain keywords highlighted in the text that you can draw your participants' attention to, so that later on when they talk about this topic in a bigger forum, they know how to address these terms. They know how to use them correctly. So if you're worried about not knowing the terms, you can start here, look at the vocabulary exercises, and do your own research before the sessions, right? you always have time to prepare. And this is a bit, what do you call it? A bit curang, yeah? Because the classes are online. Actually, you can Google as you're teaching. That's what I do when I teach online classes, to be honest. Okay. So, and then the third step, again, building on the language skills, we want to review past tenses to recount experiences. So, yes, we are working towards a specific goals, but our roles as an English teacher is to help them understand why these are important and how to do this before we can step on this staircase. Okay? Right. So here you go. So what I mentioned before, this is an example from the module, right? But again, as I mentioned before, the needs analysis in an ESP program is never ending. So as teachers, you can always help your learners to identify their real world goals, especially, for example, after you did the things in the module and then you have some time. Go ahead and ask your students, what do you usually do at your job with this kind of topic? What can we practice for your work activity? Maybe your student can say, oh, we usually have group meetings to discuss a case study. Then you can add another activity to practice how to conduct a meeting in English. That's one example. And then you can connect language skills to this goal. What language points are useful for conducting a meeting, for example. And then if you want to find additional materials, try your best to find authentic, goal relevant materials so that they can see how English is actually used in real life context. So they can learn from something real, authentic. Okay. All right. So that's on purpose related orientation. By the way, if you have questions, I think you can type your questions on the chat box now. I don't want you to forget your questions as we go. I'll address them later at the end. Now, the last feature is self-direction. This is autonomy as learners because we're teaching adults, so they have their own thoughts, they have their own perspectives, right? And their own, what do you call it? I think we're dealing with it's like two sides of the coins because on the one side it's nice you only need to ask and communicate. On the other hand, they may have a lot of things they want to explore, right? But remember, involving your learners is in as many aspects of learning as possible is essential in ESP because in most cases, they are the experts of the field, right? Sorry, I cannot mute Miss Helen.
Sorry.
That's okay, Miss. Okay, thank you for the host. Right. So, in most cases, the ESP teachers are like me. I'm just, not just, I'm an English teacher. So, English is my thing. But maybe nursing is not my uh, expertise, but I teach English for nursing. So just like some of us here, English is our expertise, but migrant activism might not be our expertise. So we need to involve our learners with their rich knowledge of their field to also direct the direction of their learning, right? So how can we do this? In the materials, again, if you check the annotation documents, you will find a lot of tips for the teachers to conduct the sessions, one of which is to encourage your learners to self-reflect. There you go. So by doing or by encouraging your learners to self-reflect, hopefully the learning also takes place outside the classroom. So they can keep reviewing, oh, I learned this in the last session, and then maybe I can use this in my work. And in the module, we also included reflective writing. This is also from Unit 1 to know more about their expectations. You mentioned this before. Expectations for the next sessions. Okay. But again, as teachers, you can do more. I mentioned before involving them to set an additional learning goal more relevant to their work. You can also offer choice in the topics. Maybe if there's a task to write about something, you can give them the freedom to choose a certain topic that they are working with at the moment. So you are connecting what they're learning with what they're working with. You can also teach them strategies for learning independently. If you have useful tools for language learning, go ahead and share with your participants. And of course, keep encouraging them to apply what they have learned in the classroom. So the learning doesn't stop in the Zoom meeting with the teachers, but we want them to also try to do this at your work. You can start now. You can start with something small at work. Okay, right. So this is actually my conclusion. Um, the we are providing you with the module. The module is a tool to hopefully give you a picture of what kind of topics, what kind of real life activities our migrant activist learners need to learn, need to grow their confidence in. But then we as teachers will keep making informed and thoughtful decisions about how to use this tool, right? So it's not only limited to what's inside the module, but you can always expand and explore based on the information that you keep getting every week from your learners. So hopefully by doing this, we can go beyond language teaching. We can help our learners find their voice as they progress. And we can help them, what do you call it, find the courage to express this voice in bigger forums in the future. Okay. So I think that's the end, yes, of my presentation. Hopefully, although some of you are very experienced, hopefully you still get um, insights and inspiration for your sessions. Okay, so I think we have a lot of time for discussion, right? So, okay. Question from Yoga. Some of the topics are sensitive in nature and thus may be too emotionally triggering or draining. How do we mitigate any potentially detrimental effects? Okay, right, right. I think it's something very tricky when it involves something that triggers you psychologically. Um, I just actually I just joined a whole series of training on this topic. So we have what we call psychological first aid. There that is they contain like steps that you need to do when your students are triggered about something. So I think first of all, it's hard to limit this or prevent your students from discussing this kind of topic, yeah, yoga, because the fact that they want to share about this means this is something that's important to their work, right? So we still need to listen to them. But if you observe they're starting to get triggered, I think you need to take a step back and then um, try to validate their emotions by saying, it seems that this is something difficult for you to talk about. Would you like to continue or would you like to take some time to process this first? I think that's the best way. If it happens inside or during the session, right? But I don't think we can really prevent them from talking about something sensitive. It might be important for them. So just keep listening and try to validate their emotions, give them the choice to continue by slowing down or to take some time and continue later. I think that's what we can do. Okay. Hopefully that answers the question. Or if you have other tips because you have more knowledge about or experience about this, you can also share with us. Okay, and Miss Lani has a question. When participants are too eager about the discussion topics, what do you suggest we do? In a way, that means the participants exercise their skills well, but somehow they can take up time, yes. And we might miss the chance to focus on the English skills and materials. Okay, that's an excellent topic. I think that's the one of the cons of having adults as our learners, right? So maybe the next facilitator on the classroom management for online classes will also share this. But for me, I always give my learners a time limit. So I don't limit because the topic is usually in the task itself, but I give them time limit. If I open a breakout room, then I will time my breakout rooms. I always do this actually. And then if you're familiar with the Zoom features, you can have a timer, but then do not close the meeting or the rooms automatically. So as you open the rooms, you can go around. If you think they need more time, then you can add the time manually, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then you tell them, we have only 2 or 3 minutes to wrap up your discussion. And there you go. Gitu. And even when asking them to share what they've discussed in the breakout rooms, I always give them a time limit. So now I'd like each person from each group to have 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to share what they have discussed with their friends. So that's one preventive measure you can do to overcome overtime sharing. Okay, hopefully that answers the question. Do we have other questions? Okay, we have something from Ms. Ririn. What usually happens in my ESP classes is that students often find the material very challenging. Yes, they tend to think they're not good at English, which makes them feel shy and hesitant to participate. Yes, Ms. Ririn, thank you for sharing that. So I think one of the tips in the annotation files is if the materials are too challenging for your learners, you can help them, by summarizing the important information in the text. So even if they cannot read everything by themselves, they still have understanding to join the discussions. So that's one of the tips from the annotation, yeah. Are there any ethical considerations, cultural sensitivity that I need to be aware of when teaching potentially vulnerable learners like migrant activists? I think yes, there must be a certain boundaries that we need to set, but I think this kind of vary depending on our learners. So in order to discover this the boundary, I think you need to uh, get involved in the discussions with your learners on the first day. Yeah, that's why on the first unit we didn't put a lot of kind of like materials, because we want you to get to know them more, to see what kinds of issues are of their interest, and to what extent, based on what they share, to what extent you think you can explore these issues in the classroom. Gitu, because we also have limited time in the classroom. Okay, hopefully that answers Miss Ashanti's question. Okay. Right. Do we have other questions or comments? You feel free to also comment. Maybe you can also unmute and ask the questions. I feel bad reading the questions now. If you have more questions or comments, feel free to unmute your Zoom meeting to share. Okay. Okay. If not, then I will give. Is it okay if we end the first session here, Yoga and Mbak Fitri? Yes, okay. So I will give the event back to the host, Mbak Fitri. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy teaching. I'm rooting for your success in the class.
Thank you, Miss Sisilana. Thank you for
You're
your
welcome.
full presentation. It is definitely a great boost to kickstart our learning today. Well, now let's take a short 5-minute break. Please be back on time so we can keep the session running smoothly. Everyone can take tea or coffee, please. Thank you. The second session is teaching in digital space with them, strategies for managing online classroom, using the digital tools, and keeping learning engaging. This session will be facilitated by Miss Harumi Manik Yamin from Universitas Indonesia. Over to you, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Fitri, for the kind introduction. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear my voice clearly. My name is Harumi Manik Yamin, but you can call me Memi, yeah? So I'm going to share my slides first. Okay, I hope you can see my slides already. Can you see it?
Yes, can.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I would like to say that it's been an honor to be a part of this wonderful program. I'm very impressed with how you are dedicated to volunteer your time and energy to help the migrant workers, yeah, who would like to learn English. So here, I would like to show you some things that I hope can help you teach your students online. Because as I listened to Miss Cecil's session, I could see that you're actually quite active and you're also quite experienced, yeah, in teaching English or maybe teaching some other subjects. So what I would like to share today is, as you can see, even probably from the timeline, from the agenda that Yoga already shared, so first of all, I would like to focus on strategies for managing online classroom. Since some of you or many of you are already quite experienced, I would be interested in knowing how you usually cope with some challenging situations, yeah? Because as you probably know, teaching online requires a different approach compared to teaching on-site or offline classrooms, where you can actually see your students clearly and you can interact with them more easily. And then the second one, I'm going to cover using digital tools. I'm not sure we will have enough time to cover a lot of digital tools, but I would like to just show a few tools that I usually find very helpful and easy to use, in addition to showing you some other options that you can explore on your own, yeah? And then the next one is how to ensure student engagement when you teach online. So I think this is like the accumulation of what we discussed on point 1 and 2. So that should nicely wrap up the session. But before we continue, I would like to show you also the objectives of our session today. So I would like to see whether you can probably help me complete this list of objectives. Yeah. So try to identify what words are missing, and please type your answers in the chat box so that I can see your answers. Try to see the list and try to guess the missing words. And I'll be waiting for your responses in the chat box. Maybe you can start with number 1, or maybe you think that you know the answer for number 2 instead. Feel free to just answer with whatever you think is the answer. Okay, let me see. English. Okay, Shanti, yeah, you answered correctly. Number 2 is English indeed. How about the others? If you would like to try one. Okay, here we have a list, yeah, already. Number 1 is create. Second, English. 3 is sorry, I need to make it bigger. Electronic, and then Willie answered create, English, engaging, reflect, comprehend. Okay, those are excellent guesses, yeah? And I think some of you already got them right. So again, class, this is an example of what you can do when you teach online. Usually as teachers, we show our session or lesson objectives to our students. And what happens? Well, they may see the list, but they probably don't really care about the list of objectives that we already designed wholeheartedly, yeah? So we already spent time, but then often they don't really pay attention. So they just read and then they forget. So doing something like this can make them more engaged, can activate their interest and their English at the same time. I can see another answer has just got in. Okay, yeah, comprehend and engaging. Okay, we'll see in a few seconds whether your answers are the ones that I want to show as well. Yeah, but I hope you remember that sometimes doing a small thing like this, like deleting some words from your objectives, can make them feel more interested in what you are showing them. And usually it will also help them remember more, yeah, when they actually do something. Okay, so let's take a look at the next slide. Here, the objectives are, yeah, they are actually built on the table of contents that I showed you before. So the first is you're going to choose strategies for managing online classroom, yeah? So it's not enough to just remember or recall the strategies at the end of, or by the end of this session. I hope you can try to choose strategies for managing online classroom based on your context or situations, yeah? For example, if students are not responsive, what can you do? Or if your students are often late, how can you deal with that kind of situation? And then the second one is you will explore tools that support online English language teaching. And then the third one is you're going to design engaging digital learning tasks. And then the last one, because again, as a teacher, it's always a good practice to be reflective. Yeah. So I would like you to reflect on the opportunities and challenges of teaching in the digital space. Okay, so now I would like to continue with the first point, yeah? Strategies for managing online classroom. If I speak too fast or if somehow my internet connection is unstable, feel free to let me know, yeah? You can just unmute yourself or you can send me a message in the chat box. Okay, now, first of all, let's discuss, yeah? Since we're talking about strategies, it's always a good thing to reflect on our challenges first, yeah, and how we can cope with the challenges. So in your opinion, what are the challenges of online classroom management? You can type your answers in the Zoom chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Feel free to think for 1 or 2 minutes before you respond, yeah? And again, when you teach online, especially if you teach a group of students who are beginners, please give them enough time to think and to prepare their answers. In this case, I deal with an excellent group of teachers, yeah, whose English I think is already very good. But later, when you teach lower level students, it is actually a good idea to give them enough time and to put what you want to ask on your slide, because their listening skill may not still at a beginner level. And by seeing the question, it also helps them to process what they want to answer. Okay, let's see. Here we have one answer in the Zoom chat. Okay, so let's see. Designing materials. Okay, sorry, I need to make my chat box bigger so I can read clearly. Designing materials in apps or webs takes a lot of time besides students' engagement. True, preparing for an online class can be time consuming. And then Ririn answered, make sure that my students are there. Oh yeah, that is actually one of the most common problems, yeah? Maybe it seems like they are there, but they turn off their camera, and when you ask them questions, they do not answer. Yes, Shanti also has a similar problem, unresponsive students, maybe unstable internet connection, and to get my students motivated, yeah, to make them passionate about learning. And here, Roslina, okay, this is a very complete list. Students do not or cannot use the digital app we chose to use. Yeah, they cannot access Google Slides or Canva, internet connection problem. They don't want to turn the camera on. And yeah, so probably they also have some background noises that can disrupt the lesson, yeah, or the class. Excellent. Okay, so those are actually some common challenges that we often have to deal with. So we'll try to cover those challenges as we continue to the next slide, yeah? Oh, there is one more answer. Let's see. Students get bored or lose motivation. Yes, again, I think online class is sometimes demotivating because we don't feel like we're actually there in the classroom. We can get distracted. We can probably be tempted to play with our phones when we are students. And let's be honest, sometimes we also do that, right? When we attend a webinar or an online maybe workshop, we feel like we don't want to turn on our camera. We feel safe if we just multitask or we just do other things. Okay, so let's take a look at our list of strategies here, yeah? Let's see whether they can help you deal with those challenges. And again, this list is of course not set in stone. We can always add, we can always adjust. And later, I would like you to be able to decide which ones that you think will be important for you to establish in your class. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the list. Yeah. First of all, I think it is very important for you to be very clear from the beginning. What are your routines when you teach your class? For example, let's say that you would like to address the issue of timeliness, yeah, or punctuality. You can say that from the beginning, or maybe even before you start your first class, you can contact your students. I think you have your WhatsApp group, or maybe you can send them email. I'm not sure how you communicate with your students, but whatever it is, it's good to be clear in advance. Like, let's say that you teach on Tuesday. So on Monday, you can already text or inform them that, okay, hello class, I'm excited to meet you tomorrow. So please tomorrow, although we start at, let's say at 7 p.m., I would like you to join Zoom at least 10 minutes before the class starts so that we can start on time. And please turn on your camera. We will also learn together in this program, and I would like to know you more. And I think it will also help us remember each other more easily. Yeah. So about being on time and then turning on the camera. And then you can also remind them to make sure that their Zoom name follows a certain format that you want. Maybe you want them to write their full name, or you want them to write their nickname, yeah, or a full name plus nickname if it's not too long. So I think those ground rules can help make a huge difference. Yeah. So that is about, again, punctuality, about turning on the camera, and then about names. And then you can also address how you want them to participate. Yeah. So it's always a good idea to tell your expectation that they should focus on the lesson despite probably their hectic schedules. And then you could also tell them to be respectful, yeah, when their classmates probably speak, do not interrupt. And then if you show slides, again, I had this, well, I've got this experience. So at that time, I shared my Jamboard, although I think Jamboard is no longer available. Yeah, it's one of the tool from Google that we can use to basically share our screen, and then others can also write something there. Or even if we use Zoom, it's also possible for others to make notes or to make a scribble, right? If we do not set the setting right. So once I showed my Jamboard slide, and then what happened was one of my students, maybe he was too excited exploring the tool. So as I actually explained what is going on the slide, the student just happily drawing things here and there. And again, I didn't want to think that he did that intentionally to disrupt the class, but I think at that time, it also caused some disruption, yeah? So again, you can also be very clear from the beginning. And since you deal with students who are probably still beginners, always make sure that the rules, yeah, or maybe since you teach adult class, you would like to use the term classroom agreements, make everything is in written form, yeah, and it is something that you shared with them, so that in terms of rules, remember 3 C's, yeah, clarity, make sure that the rules or the expectations or the routines, the agreements are clear to everyone. And then remember that you also need to be focused on the second C, consequences, yeah, or consequence. If they break the rules, what happens? So make sure there are consequences. And then the third one is consistent, yeah. You have to be consistent or consistency, yeah. Because if you have the rule and probably you try to give them the consequences, but then you're not very consistent, it will also will not give you the best results. So remember the 3 C's, yeah? Clarity, and then consequence, and consistency. Okay, so that's about the first point. And then the second one is know your students. So that's why I suggested if you want your students to turn on the video or turn on the camera, you can also relate that to your personal interests in their faces, in their names. And usually the first session is for introduction. You can also try to ask them to share some personal information about them that they feel comfortable to share. Maybe one thing that is interesting about them, or maybe just some basic information about them, but try to spend time to get to know your students. Yeah. And the first session is always a great idea to try to connect with your students. But if the time is limited, you can try to assign something that they can do outside the class. Yeah. Maybe again, if you have a WhatsApp group with your students, you can ask them to write something about themselves, just shortly, but at least you can have extra information about them. What I like to do, I know in your case, you only teach a small class, yeah, because you only have 8 to 9 students. So this shouldn't be a problem. But if you teach a large class, for example, sometimes I have to teach not at my university, yes, at another university in which I teach part-time. I have to teach English online, and my students are like 50 students. So it's very hard for me to remember my students. And I like to create like Google slide that students at the beginning, they have to put on their picture and they have to put on their nickname, their full name, and 2 or 3 things that they want me to know about them. Yeah. Although it's still quite challenging to remember 50 students, but at least it helps. So when I see a list of students, I can see, okay, so Ahmad is this one, the one who likes Minecraft, for example. And then Chichi is the one who is very interested in K-pop, for example. So yeah, I think if I can do that for a large classroom, I think you can definitely do something like that in your classroom. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Somebody wrote something. Oh yeah, sometimes they also put whatever picture they have by reasoning. I don't have pictures in this laptop. Yeah, that's true, Roslina. That's why you can try to give them enough time. So if probably they cannot upload their picture at that time, maybe they can do it if you give them like a week or a few days to complete the Google Slides that you want them to fill in. Or maybe you can ask them to, I assume that you have that problem when they put on a photo of something else instead of their face on their Zoom account. Yeah, maybe if they cannot do it for the first day, then they can do it for the next session. Yeah. So I think flexibility is also something that we have to consider when we teach online because of some technical reasons. Oh yeah, and usually when I use the Google Slide activity for introduction, I also put my own as an example. So I put my picture and I said like, you know what, I would like to remember your faces. So I know that students sometimes can be very artistic, taking a great picture from the back or zoom out or from the side. But please use the picture that really shows your face clearly from the front. Yeah. Okay. Oh, pet picture. Okay, pet picture is also something that can be a conversation starter, or maybe instead of posting their pet picture, they can try to include that as something that they would like to say about themselves. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next is introduce features like mute, hand raise, and chat. Okay. I know that you're going to use Zoom, and I assume that everyone here are quite familiar with Zoom features like mute, hand raise, and chat. But if, let's say, you deal with students who may not be familiar with Zoom features, you can try to introduce features from the beginning, yeah? And then you can remind them in the following week, and probably you need to remind them again from time to time. Like, for instance, maybe they forget to mute themselves, so then you can hear noises in the background. Or maybe they, instead of raise their hand first, then they just speak immediately. And maybe when they type their answers in the chat box, they probably sometimes are not really familiar with it. So try to anticipate problems and try to make sure that they can use those features comfortably. Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, since you are going to use Zoom, you can also use breakout rooms. And earlier I asked the host to help me divide you into breakout rooms later, yeah? So in this case, in addition to using breakout rooms, I think it will be a good idea if you try to give them structured tasks. In the morning session, Ms. Cecil reminded us the importance of being clear with time management. So if you give them activities, tell them, okay, you have 15 minutes for this activity. You will be divided into 4 breakout rooms. And then if you only have maybe 5 more minutes or 2 more minutes, I will remind you in the breakout rooms. Yeah, so you can do that. And I think sometimes students get carried away. They need more time than you expect. So you need to provide some wiggle room, yeah? So when you plan your lesson, although you plan for 15 minutes, you also need to consider that they probably need more time. So I can still give them extra 3 minutes, let's say. And that's okay, because what matters is whether the students can learn successfully or not. And sometimes we just need to maybe sacrifice the time a bit in other parts. But again, if somehow the students can do something much faster, that's good. Probably you can allocate more time for the discussion and giving feedback. Just like what happened today, yeah? I know that I'm scheduled to start at 10:15, but somehow, yeah, I had to start earlier. So just try to be flexible. And then the next one is monitor participation through check-ins. So again, you can try to remind the students to participate. Maybe if you feel like typing in the chat box can be too much for them, then at least you can ask them to react by using emojis, yeah? Or you can also call them and then see whether they will respond or not. So again, I think all of these are related to the first one, yeah, about setting clear expectations and routines. So you can tell them, I'm going to call you. If you cannot respond after I call you once, twice, and third times, I will assume that you're not here and you will be considered absent, for example, yeah. I'm sure that you will have discussion with the program designer or the committee, how strict you can be with your students regarding punctuality and attendance, yeah? And you also need to explain the rationales, yeah? Why you want them to be on time and why you want them to be present. Because here you want them to learn, and I'm sure that they learn because they want to achieve something. And in order to achieve that, they have to spend their energy and they have to be committed and they have to stay motivated and see it as a community of learners, yeah, where we support and encourage each other. And then again, this is related to something that I mentioned earlier and also what Ms. Cecil reminded you, manage your time well. And this is related to this last point that I want to show you here, yeah? So please be ready with plan A, plan B, or even plan C. Let's say that, oh, I would like to teach this by using this video, yeah, as a supplementary material. But somehow the video doesn't work, yeah? So what do you have to do? Maybe you can just skip it, or maybe you can find another alternative. And then if you think that at first it's supposed to be the student giving maybe like a short presentation, if the student somehow is absent, what will you do? Can you choose another student? Can you postpone? So that's why teaching requires a lot of decision making, right? So ideally, we can come up with plan A, B, or even C, yeah? Hopefully we don't have to have plan C, but at least plan B, yeah. And this is related to what I said earlier about being flexible, but still focus on your objectives. There are many ways to achieve the objectives, so that's why I think you just need to be agile, yeah, and to be able to adapt quickly. Okay, now let's see. I hope that this list of strategies makes sense. If you have other strategies that you want to share, feel free to raise your hand, feel free to unmute yourself, or just type in the chat box, yeah? Okay, but after this, actually, I'm going to ask you to work in breakout rooms, and I'm going to give you 10 minutes. To do what? To do this worksheet about classroom management, and I will ask the host to help me divide you into 4 groups, yeah? In the group, I would like to show you the worksheet first. Let me stop sharing my screen first. In the Google Doc link that I shared with you, you will have to complete this worksheet, yeah? Sorry, let's share once again. Since there are only 18 teachers, I think, dividing you into 4 groups should be okay. There will be 4 to 5, yeah, in one group. I would like you to list 3 classroom norms that you would establish in an online class, yeah? We already talked a lot of rules, expectations, classroom agreements. Which ones do you think you will establish, yeah? I know you can probably list 10 norms, but I want you to just focus on 3, yeah? Every group can have different answers, or they can probably have the same answers. That's fine. I just want to see what rules, yeah? What classroom agreements that you want to make in your class. And then the second one is, what feature of your preferred platform, in this case Zoom, will you use most to keep students on task and why? So later, when you are divided into the breakout room, please, if you are in a breakout room 1, then you consider yourself group 1, and you can just write the classroom norms there after you discuss with your friends. So I only ask you to do this in 10 minutes. Don't write anything yet, yeah, because you're not in your breakout room yet. But I hope that it's clear enough. You will be divided into how many groups, class? 4. Okay, good job, Willie. And then you will have how many minutes? How many minutes for you to work? Okay, 10 minutes. Excellent. Okay, so can you please kindly help me divide the participants into 4 breakout rooms? The kind host. Yoga probably can help me. Earlier, I was informed that the host will divide you into the breakout rooms. Okay, Yoga, is it okay?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all right, because you're the one who remembers the participants, yeah? Okay, so this will take maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Please, while waiting, you can try thinking of what norms that you want to establish and what features that you want to use, yeah, to keep your students on task. So when you meet your friends in the breakout room, you can just type the answers after a quick discussion. Okay, it seems that Yoga is probably trying to contact other hosts. If it's okay, I'm going to just divide you into 4 breakout rooms myself. Yoga, is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to get things started
Okay.
out, still in conversation with one another.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think the breakout room is open. Please join your room. And then if you're the committee, you don't have to join, yeah? But if you want, you can do that. Okay, remember 10 minutes. I'll see you later in 10 minutes. Okay. I'm going to check other breakout rooms yet to make sure that they understand what they have to do and they can access the link.
Sure, Miss Mamie, I think one of the participants is still here. We still have one left here. Oh, two now. Oops.
Is on what the norms you'd establish first. Hi everyone, sorry to interrupt. Have you got access to the link? Because if you didn't get the link, I can share with you in the chat box. Yeah, we have already opened the link. Okay, just remember to share the screen so that everyone can just follow easily, yeah? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, see you in a few more minutes. Okay, see you, sis. So for me, what I emphasize on my students is that keep their integrity. I mean, like, be honest. For example, in my class, I allow them to use ChatGPT, but with responsible. I mean, like, I don't want to see the perfect facts. What I want to see is their
Max?
progress from
Max?
not knowing, you know, even though the progress is very slightly, but
Yoga? Did Max get kicked out of the breakout room? I think he's supposed to be in the breakout room, right? And I thought I saw him earlier. Yoga. Okay. If that's the case. Hi, Yoga.
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry to keep calling you. Is Max one of the participants?
Yeah, he has two cages, I think. He has two
Okay, I
devices.
see.
So one of the devices is in one of these
Okay. So should we just put him in room 3 then?
I think room 4 has the least number of students. We
Oh,
need
okay.
more.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Only 2. What happened? Okay,
We're trying to add one of these participants, but I don't think she's here actually.
I see. All right.
Yeah, Nisa
Okay.
Rahmaya. It's fine. Yeah,
Okay, that's okay. How
but it's
many
pretty
more
quiet.
minutes?
It's
How
pretty
many
quiet
more
in
minutes? What is, sorry, what did you say?
it's pretty quiet in room 4 if you want to check what's happening.
Yeah, because only 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to see room 4 then, but I would like to check their Google Docs first. If they haven't written anything, that's something that I should really check. They are writing already.
Sorry, can I get access to the document?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Let me share it in the chat box.
Okay. Great. Continue.
Okay. And can you remind me how many more minutes do I have for my session? I know that I started early, so what time should I stop?
We still have a long time. You still have you have until 11:15. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, you have like
Okay, that's
45.
good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, let me check room 4 then. Okay, Yoga, I'm so sorry for putting you on the spot, yeah, for asking you to divide based on the participants.
It's
Apparently,
fine. It's
that
fine. Yeah.
it caused a problem because, yeah, I noticed in room 4, there's only 1 participant, yeah, because Mbak Dina is
2.
not a teacher.
Oh,
2.
yeah. She's not actually the teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, only 1. But earlier I asked Mbak Dina and she said that, yeah, she's helping Asanti also.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I thought it would be a good idea to have a list of participants' names, but then I thought like, oh, that's okay. But yeah, when I realized, oh, I have to make them into breakout rooms, then I remembered, oh yeah.
It's quite. Yeah, it's quite
Okay.
a
Chaotic.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, but things again, just what I said before, right? Being flexible is always okay.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, how many more minutes do they have for the breakout room? Let me see. Oh, I cannot see the time from my side. How many more minutes do they have?
Maybe 3 more minutes, right?
Okay. All right, let me just broadcast.
Yeah.
3 more minutes.
Did you give them 10 minutes?
I told them 10 minutes. Did you allocate 10 minutes?
I don't think that's such a thing as allocation here.
Oh.
I don't think we timed it.
So you didn't set the time limits?
I'm not sure because I wasn't the one doing it.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't think they timed it though. You can end it anytime you want.
Okay. Because I told them that they have 10 minutes, but I think it's been more or less 5 minutes-ish, so I can
Okay.
just remind them to
Yeah.
spend the next 3 minutes to finish what they are doing.
Okay. We still have about 40 minutes for your session. But if you need more time, we can probably just make things work because
No,
Miss
no, no.
Helen has
No,
30 minutes.
it's okay. That
Okay.
is more than enough, I think. Because this is the only breakout room activity that I plan. So I think after this, it will not take that much time.
Okay. We assigned much more space and time for Miss Helen because we thought that she would need more time to do activities
Yeah,
online.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. But if you need
Miss Erlyn is just
I was like,
giggling.
did I just say, did I just say my name?
you just mentioned my name.
Yeah, Yoga said that you will have the longest session.
Oh, really?
Miss Helen, how is everything? It's been quite a while since I last saw you.
Oh, I miss you so much, Yoga. Doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, because my session and Helen's session can overlap a bit, right?
Yeah, I was
But,
yeah, why I kind of like sneak in into your session just to make sure that I don't
Mhm.
repeat some ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope my session so far hasn't overlapped that much, Helen, with yours.
I just joined, unfortunately. So, but I think my session would be more about like sharing ideas,
Mm-hmm.
rather than using the tools in the online
Okay.
environment. So, because I kind of like anticipate there's going to be more in your session. So, mine is going to be like how to just give like ideas and extend or adjust the materials.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Alright.
the content yoga that I use is actually not from the module, and I hope it's okay. Just one actually for the
Fine, yeah.
micro teachings because it's I couldn't open the file last night, so I was kind of like a bit panicked. So I just find something that I have tried with my students previously.
Okay.
Totally
Yeah, that's
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally fine.
but I did include the first unit. I think it's about the what's that about? The introduction.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. Okay. So, all right, let's wait for maybe 1 or 2 more minutes before we continue the session.
There's only 7 participants for the session.
I think there are 18 teachers.
Okay.
That's why I thought dividing them into 4 breakout rooms will be good. But yeah, I think the number of teachers in each group varies quite significantly.
Okay, so 6 are the facilitators here, 6 participants.
Mhm.
I see.
Mhm.
Miss Hurley, were you in the UK when I was there?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Ah,
But I've
I
been
didn't get to see you. Sorry. It's just one right away from my city, from Palmer. Sorry, I couldn't make the trip to Cambridge.
It's okay. It's okay. I did most of my PhD like remotely because I conducted my fieldwork here in Indonesia. And then yeah, motherhood. So
Wow.
I spent of my PhD here.
So how is your PhD for the both of you?
I'm revising my thesis. Yeah, hopefully I can finish it very soon.
Yay.
Okay, I'm closing the breakout rooms. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I gave you hopefully enough time for you to discuss. We're still waiting for more participants yet to join. The breakout room will close in 20 seconds. So everyone should be here by 20 seconds from now. Okay, remember after this, we're going to see your answers and I will expect one representative from each group. So I hope you already decided who will speak on behalf of the group, or
Yes,
even if
group
you haven't,
one,
you can
Mr.
volunteer.
Ricky.
Okay, excellent. All right, so welcome back, everyone. I think everyone is already here. I'm going to share my slide again to make sure everyone can see the Google Doc. And let's start from group one, yeah? Okay, group one. Who is the volunteer from group one to share why you chose those norms? I think in this case, we have more than 3 classroom norms, yeah? You're very excited, yeah, listing down the norms.
Very
Okay.
inclusive.
Yes, very inclusive to accommodate everyone's ideas. Okay, yes, group one. May I have the representative?
I nominate Mr. Ricky. I don't
Oh,
know
Mr.
the other
Ricky.
group. Do they agree? Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Ricky.
Ricky. Yeah.
Okay. So from our discussions, we would like to put punctuality
Mhm.
as the first norms is and then the need to turn the camera on. Even though at the beginning, I think Mas Yoga already explained to us about the conditions, but I think it's better for us to put it firstly so
Mhm.
they may understand. It means they can also have if something happens, or maybe they have if they have reasons and because of the situations or the conditions, they can inform the teachers firstly. But we just want to put the rules there so all other students is also understand, and they don't like based on the experience of some of us. Students might have the tendency to underestimate the rules and take it easy. So it's better
Mhm.
to just stick with and put it clearly from the beginning.
Mhm.
And the second one is actually answer the questions voluntarily when teachers give the questions to the class discussions. This is also connected with the rules that we would like to uh, increase the time for students to speak rather than the teachers itself, the STT,
Mhm.
and then triple T.
Mhm.
So in this one is like we want everyone to talk and then less time for the teacher to talk more on the students. And
Yeah.
then respect other opinions. It is important. It's not about right or wrong, but it's just like to respect others' opinion. And then confidentiality. This is also important in case like we try not to make students say something or may tell something that is actually confidential. Uh,
Mhm.
because we are afraid of the consequences as well, as it might also be how to say that putting someone's in dangerous situations.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ricky. I know that you still have a few more answers. I just put the first 3 in bold, yeah, to highlight that those 3 are the first things that you wrote. But I definitely agree that we need to make sure they can join on time with the camera on if that's what you want, and they can actively participate, and they also have to be respectful. Here, I think it's quite interesting that you also consider the students' confidentiality. I think that is also important, but often overlooked. So that's good. And then using the features, we mentioned that. And then here about student talking time versus teacher talking time. I can know that you are an experienced teacher, or you're probably from the Faculty of Education, because it is such a common term, yeah. And when we teach, of course, ideally the students should talk more instead of the teacher, especially since this is an English class, yeah. Okay, and then group 2. Thank you, Ricky. Group 2, can I have the representative? Or anyone from the group? That's okay.
Alani, please.
Lani.
Okay.
Lani got
Okay,
voted.
thank you.
Okay.
So we try to simplify and minimize distraction or like not expectation, but the difficulties, because we don't know where people are from and what gadget they have. So we only put three things that people should be on mic and touch the name that they prefer. So they don't have to put their real name or full name or anything, but just the name that they want to use in the classroom and their location, because we want to understand the situation, and maybe we can like understand the context of the whatever we do in the class. I mean, like in discussion, when we know the location of somebody talking about something, then we can relate with whatever they say.
Okay, are you saying that you would like to know where your student is from or where
Yes.
they are when they attend the lesson?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because your students can come from many different places, yeah? And
Yeah, so
knowing the
we
context is
probably need to understand the situation, like the real situation there. Maybe they change places when they joining the first session from a very safe environment, but then the second one when they are in a chaotic place. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I like that you are very considerate, yeah? Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you, Lani, for representing your group very well. Now let's have group 3, yeah? Group 3 representative. Anyone from group 3? I know group 3 is quite a big group as well. Well, group 4 is probably the smallest group due to some technical problems. Okay, group 3. Don't be shy. I know you can share your answers very well. If you're not ready yet, sharing your answers, I think we can go to group 4, and hopefully after group 4, group 3 is ready. Yeah. So group 4, Shanti, I think you will be the representative, right? Can you please explain your answer?
Okay, so here we have three strategies. The first one, agreement. The first one is about the microphone. So we will ask the students to mute the microphone when they don't speak, and they can unmute themselves when it's their turn to talk. One, we will also ask the students to keep their camera on if possible, because there are some conditions that might not allow them to keep their camera on, but at least we ask them first, just like as the first group said. And then the last one is we encourage students to join the class on time. If they can inform the teacher first if they cannot attend the class on time.
Okay, all right. Very good. It's good that you are consistent. There are 3, and then it's more about technicality when we participate in an online class, yeah? But those technical issues, they can cause challenges if we do not address them from the beginning as clearly as possible. So yeah, good job. Okay, now let's go back to group 3. Group 3, are you ready now?
Yeah, let me try.
Okay, thank you, Ririn.
Okay, so first, we put on the list is being on time. Yeah, actually, we expect our students to come on time, but we also flexible because we know their condition is exceptional, not not like normal students. They have a situation, maybe they have to work or they have something else to do. So, of course, we encourage them to be on time, but we are so flexible for that. And the second list, it is integrity. It means that we encourage our students to be honest with their progress, because it is actually this program is for them, not for us. So by being honest with their progress, can inform the teacher in what level they are now, and then what should we improve or anything like that. So because if they don't be honest, so we have no idea in what level they are now. And stay engaging. it's actually similar with the last list, make mistakes. Because some of students still hesitant to participate because they are afraid to make mistakes. So we will encourage our students to just jump. They always said to me, have a leap of faith. So don't
Okay.
yeah. So don't worry about making mistakes because we learn mostly from our mistakes.
Okay.
And tasks on time. Yeah, that's actually basic. Of course, we want them to submit tasks on time, but as I said before, we are flexible. As long as they inform us before they do that, it will also show responsibility.
Okay, thank you very much, Ririn. I just want to double check. So here, stay engaging as in participate and don't be too worried about making mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if I may rephrase it a bit, I think it's more about stay engaged and don't worry too much about making mistakes. Okay. I just want to make sure that the phrasing is clear for everyone. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, people might think that you expect them to keep making mistakes. Well, what I understand is you want them to don't worry too much about making mistakes because when we learn a language, making mistakes is part of the learning process. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Ririn, for representing your group very well. Now, I just want to take a quick look at this list of features. Okay, wow. So in this case, you have already listed a lot of tools that actually I'm going to discuss after this. So that's why I can see that you're already quite knowledgeable. Actually, what I meant with this question is more about the feature of the Zoom platform, yeah? Because I just want to use it as the baseline for everyone's familiarity. But yeah, that's good. Emojis, whiteboard, chat box, screen sharing, they are the basic. Okay, excellent. And then for group 2, I think all of these are things that we find on Zoom and we can use them consistently to engage students. In this case, yeah, I think probably group 3 misunderstood a bit, but probably it's also my bad for not clarifying it. In this case, yeah, I will consider the second line as your answer related to Zoom features. And then the last one is, okay, this is also the ones that I meant. Excellent. I agree that, okay, thank you, Hotma. So you will use the raise hand feature and also the emoji because this is actually very easy. So you don't have to worry that students might feel afraid to participate, and then using the chat box. Again, you will have to check how familiar your students are with all of these features since you're going to use Zoom. So it's always a good idea to pre-teach them, all of these features before you expect them to use them. Okay, right. So good job, everyone, for completing the classroom management activity very well. Now, as you remember, we have 3 things, in our agenda, and actually we have 4 objectives. I think we're done with the first point about the classroom management or strategies for managing online classroom. So now I would like to proceed to the second point, which is using digital tools. So in this case, I will not cover a lot of tools and demonstrating everything because as you can see, even by using Zoom itself and by using Google Doc, something simple that can already help you interact and make your students learn in an interactive way as well, So now let's take a look at Mentimeter. Yeah, this is one of the tools that I often use. I'm sure that you also probably have used this. But what I want you to do now is please scan the QR code, or you can go to menti.com and use the code 41341479. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share my Menti slide after this, but I would like to give you enough time to scan the QR code or type in the code manually, yeah? I believe if you just scan the QR code, you don't have to type anything, but if you want to do it manually, typing menti.com, then you will be expected to type in the code, yeah? For 1341479. Okay. If you want me to type the code in the chat box, I can do that for you. Okay, so that's the code to use if you go manually to menti.com. Okay, now let me open my Menti slide. If you go there, you will be expected to type up to 3 tools that you have used for teaching or for learning English online. So I can see you have shared quite a lot of answers. And here, what I ask you to do is something that will create a word cloud, actually. Yeah. So the more often the tool is mentioned in your answers, the bigger the size, yeah, and it will be in the middle. In this case, okay, sorry, probably I made 1 or 2 participants confused with the code. It's just to enter the Menti slide. It's not a part of the answers. But having said that, here we can see that the most popular for now is Google Classroom, okay, Menti, and then Padlet and Zoom. Okay, yeah, I think Zoom is more like the video conference tool, but it is true that we often use Zoom, and within Zoom itself, there are digital tools that we can use to help us teach online in a more interactive manner. Here I can see Gemini AI or ChatGPT, and that's true. Google is very broad, so maybe you can try to make it more specific. Microsoft Teams, yeah. If your students can access Microsoft Teams, that's good. But I think in this case, yeah, we will try to focus more on Zoom. That's why earlier I tried to focus on Zoom features as well. Google Drive, Canva, quizzes. Miss Cecil already used quizzes earlier, and then now we're using Menti. Jamboard, I've used that. Slido, I've seen teachers use this. I think that is also a good idea. Wheel of names, yeah. So wheel of names, I think it's good for deciding who's going to respond, yeah. Or I think nowadays even many people, or to be precise, many ibu-ibu like to use wheels of names to decide arisan, so who's going to get the money. Okay, Padlet, yes. Okay, Kahoot, definitely. I think Kahoot here is supposed to be Kahoot. Okay, good job, everyone. I know that there should be more responses, but I think so far this has given me quite a clear idea how familiar you are with some possible tools that you can use. Okay, so let's stop sharing. And now I'd like to go back to my slide, yeah? Again, in this case, I would like to encourage you to try to explore those tools on your own, because it usually takes some time to be familiar with the features. And what is tricky is, for instance, I've been using, for example, Menti quite often, and then also what else? Flipgrid, if you know the platform for us to share videos, but then Flipgrid became Flip, and then when I check online, Flip will no longer be available, just like Jamboard. So the thing with digital tools is they keep changing, yeah? So that's why I think instead of showing you how to use them one by one, I'm just a bit concerned that probably the steps that I show you right now will be obsolete, yeah, in the next maybe few months, or maybe in the next, in the very near future. So instead of doing that, and since we also only have limited time, I would like to show you this possible tools that you can use. But keep in mind that when you teach online, it's not always about the tools. It's how you use the tool. So at the beginning, I think during the pandemic, when teachers were conditioned to switch on quickly to online classrooms, there was this pressure for us to be familiar with so many digital tools. And sometimes we could feel overwhelmed, or we could feel like, oh, if I want to be a good teacher teaching online, I have to know all of these tools. There is some truth in that. Yeah? It's good that you know many different tools, but what actually matters is how you use the tools. And remember that your students can also feel overwhelmed if in one lesson you keep changing the tools. Yeah, maybe in the first 15 minutes you used Kahoot, and then you change to quizzes. Well, actually, quizzes and Kahoot, they're actually quite similar, right? If you want to give them a quiz, then just choose one platform and make sure that students actually know how to use the platform. Yeah, so that is something that you need to keep in mind. And then here, yeah, since I already mentioned Kahoot and quizzes that are usually very popular, especially among elementary school teachers, yeah, because this is something that is just like a game, yeah. It's a quiz, it can be a test, but it makes students feel like they're just playing a game. And then, yeah, again, things that keep changing. For example, in the past, I think Kahoot used to be free and very easy to use, but then it became more limited in terms of the features and how to use it. So yeah, what I suggest is try to check what the tool is, what you can do with that tool, and then whether it is very important for you to use that tool, yeah? And then Workwall is actually quite interesting, and there are many features that can help you deliver your lessons. For example, by using an interactive, like if you want to do matching activity, you can use Workwall because it will make it more, sorry, I think I need to remind my daughter to stop playing the piano because I cannot hear my voice. Sorry, give me one. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, that is about teaching online also, right? We sometimes have to adjust the condition. Okay, so Workwall, again, this is actually one of my favorite tools as well. If you want to make, for example, matching activity, gap fill to be more interactive instead of just showing the PDF and then asking students to type their answers on the Zoom screen, yeah, let's say, or by using the features from Zoom. But again, check whether it's worth using or not, because you also need to consider the time that you spend to be familiar with the tool and whether this will be user-friendly or not for your students. And then Mentimeter, we already did that. I hope it was easy and user-friendly enough for you. Or maybe since you have used it quite often, yeah, that was a piece of cake, yeah? And then lyrics training. Lyrics training is excellent if you want to give them supplementary listening exercise. So if you go to lyrics training, then you will be able to choose a video clip, music video, and then they can choose the level of difficulties. For example, you want it to be beginner or intermediate or advanced. And then it's like karaoke. You try to sing along, but then some of the words are missing. So you need to type the missing lyric. So you can listen and then type the lyric. So that's fun if you want to give them some extensive listening, yeah, to support what they are learning in class. And then Padlet, I think somebody already mentioned Padlet. Padlet is also something that you can use if you want your students to write the responses, and then you can see it immediately. So Creative, it's excellent. I like it. It can be useful if you want to give them quizzes. For example, like you want them to read something, and then you want to check whether they already read the text or not, you can give them some questions, and then they can do it in Socrative. It can be done live as well, and you can see the results. So in a way, it's a bit similar to quizzes and Kahoot, but it doesn't feel like a game. Yeah, it's more serious. Yeah, but again, I still like it a lot. And then wheel of names, you already mentioned that. So yeah, it's a wheel consisting of the students' names. And if you want to choose somebody to answer, then you can click the wheel, and then eventually it will stop, and then the student can get selected. So yes, these are things that I find quite user-friendly. But again, my opinion might be different with what you think. So I really suggest that you try to explore these, especially since these are tools that are often mentioned as the most popular tools for English language teaching. Okay, next is, for example, like WordWall. If you're not familiar with it, of course, you need to sign up and make an account. Then you can try to match up, and then you can also do a quiz, and then you can also open the box, tap each box in turn to open them up. So this can be good for vocabulary. This is for arranging sentences. This is also flashcard. Spin the wheel is like wheel of names in a way. And then you can also use group sort, find the match, or complete the sentences. That's why this can be like a gap fill in a way. All right, so that's just an example of what you can do. Okay, so that is about the digital tools that you can explore. Now for the last part, the last thing in our agenda is about ensuring student engagement. I think this has something that we already mentioned earlier, but I would like you to see this video on how can I engage students in an online class to ensure active participation. Here I have a short video from Pearson. The duration is, I think, less than 2 minutes, so it's very short. I want you to watch the video and please take notes. Yeah, what do you learn from the video? I will turn on the captions to anticipate that you might not have strong internet connection, or maybe you are not in a place where you can hear the sound clearly. Yeah, and this is something that you can consider also when you teach. If your students are all in an ideal environment, then you don't have to turn on the captions. But if you feel like they might need the captions, then you can, of course, use the caption. Or you can combine. Maybe for the first listening, they don't listen and reading at the same time. But the second time, you can turn on the captions or the subtitles. Okay, so what do you have to do? Watch the video and take notes. Yeah, focus on what you learned from the video concerning engaging students online. Yeah. Okay, so let me stop sharing first because I forgot to turn on the optimized sound first. Let me just find my YouTube page, turning on from the beginning, and make sure the sound is maximum. Okay, right. Remember, it's only less than 2 minutes, yeah? Okay. Can you see the video already? If you can say yes, that will be good. So I can know everyone is ready.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's good.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Remember to watch and take notes. What you can learn about making students engage in an online setting.
Engaging students online is a little bit different than engaging them in a regular classroom. In a regular classroom, you can look and see who's paying attention, who's not, who needs a little bit more encouragement, who's maybe sleeping at the back of the class or checking their phones. You can deal with all of that very simply. But when you're broadcasting to students and don't necessarily see all of their faces together, or even one or two faces at some times, it can be quite challenging. What do you have to do? Well, it starts with setting very high expectations for what the students need to do in order to engage in the classroom. I find it useful to set goals. You might want to set short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. A short-term goal should be something that students are expected to do every day on a regular basis. For example, improving their vocabulary, making lists, learning their vocabulary, practicing, expanding with new items that are of interest to them. In the medium term, maybe that's completing some kind of an assignment, like a short creative video that has to do with the theme of this week's class. The long-term idea is to do something more extensive that requires more time, but maybe little bits of time to accomplish, such as reading a book in English. As students work through their goals, get them to report regularly on their progress, making sure that they're keeping on task. It also helps if they can have a partner or a group of partners to monitor their progress as well.
Okay. Okay, as I said before, it's very short, right? Now, I'm pretty sure that you could get the key points from that short video. And although it might seem very simple, the video itself, I believe that what the professor said, it's something that we can consider trying, yeah, when we teach online to make sure that our students are engaged. Okay, so let me try to welcome answers first, yeah? What do you learn from the video then? There are two key points actually that we can learn from the video. What are they? Feel free to say your answers orally, yeah? Willie, you unmuted yourself. Would you like to try
Yes.
answering? Okay, good.
Accidentally, but okay, I will try.
It's a good sign.
Yes, I think the professor mentioned about setting a very high expectation, but he used the word very high. It depends on our situation, but it's a very good idea, setting high expectation where they need to do something and set the goals with the short-term, medium, and long-term goals, where they could start by working on vocabulary for short-term goals. For the medium, they could create a video as an assignment, or for the long term, we can even assign them to read books in English or do something with an extensive timing. And then after that, they need to report back with partners or a group of partners, or probably individual, depending on the number of the students, I suppose.
Okay, excellent. You remembered a lot of details, yeah, from the short video. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Yeah, so I believe that actually if we try to sum up the video into two key points, we can just consider that we need to set goals, yeah? Although the goals can be like short-term goals until long-term goals. And then we also need to assign them into like a buddy system in which they can try to find a partner that can help monitor each other's progress. As in the examples of the goals, I think Willie already cited a lot of examples very well. And let me see, some answers just came up in the chat box. Yeah, setting the goals, good. Long-term goals is important. Sometimes we only focus on the short-term goal. Well, remember, since we teach this group of special students who actually have long-term goals, we probably need to remind them from time to time that remember that you spend time for this program, and there might be times when you feel like you are not motivated enough, but we need to set a clear goal for ourselves, the short term until the long term goals. And it will be easier if we have a buddy, a partner that can help monitor the progress. Yes, that's true. Thank you so much for your participation, everyone. I'm sure that there are still many other ways that we can engage our students online, but I hope what we have done in this session can help you become an interactive teacher that really promotes student engagement in an online class. Yeah. Okay. So now, since we're almost at the end of the session, I would like to end this with the point on reflecting on opportunities and challenges of teaching in the digital space. So I like to do what I call 3-2-1 reflection, something that I picked up in one of the workshops that I attended. So here, at the end of the session, you can ask your students to share 3 things that they learned from this session. So I would like to relate this to the theme that I put on the top, opportunities and challenges of teaching in the digital space. Maybe now you realize that, oh yeah, when I teach online, apparently I can be flexible. So that is one opportunity that I learned. Or maybe if you think like it's a bit hard to relate to the big title at the beginning and you just want to focus on, okay, today I learned the importance of being clear with my expectation. That's also fine, yeah? And then 2 concerns or questions I still have. So I think this might be related to the challenges, yeah? I'm still not sure how to deal with students who have unstable internet connection, for example. I'm not sure how I can let my students come late, because if they come too late, then it can also affect the teaching flow or their own progress. So feel free to think and spend some time to reflect on these questions. And the last thing is, one thing that you will try in your next online class. I'm not going to ask you to share this reflection with me. This is something that you need to do for your own reflection, because sometimes we don't spend enough time to think, to reflect, and to write. So I would ask you to spend 1 minute, yeah, to try to write this 3-to-1 reflection. Or since actually when I check the time, it's already 11:16. This is something that you can do during the break, because I believe after this we have a break, and then Miss Herlin will continue with the last session. Yeah. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of this so that while you enjoy your break, or maybe at the end of the day, you can try to review what you have learned from this session. And you can also plan what you want to do in your next online class. Okay? And this is the final note from me. If you, in case you didn't know, so here in Indonesia, we have this community association called Indonesia Technology Enhanced Language Learning, or what we call ITEL, or some people say it ITEL. I think it's ITEL because from Indonesia. It has a lot of interesting and useful resources from Indonesian scholars and also from some prominent figures in technology enhanced language teaching. There are some excellent slides, webinars that you can try to check for your own development as an online English teacher. Yeah. So I hope that this can be a good resource for you in addition to so many other resources out there. I'm not a member of ITEL, but I think it is a very useful platform and association if you're interested in this area. Okay, that will be all. Thank you so much. And yes, Yoga, thank you for the appreciation. Sorry for taking a bit more time than I planned. I hope that they still can enjoy their break before Miss Helen's session. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for participating very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll give this back to the host. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, maybe anyone want to ask? I just can come with 1 or 2 questions. Maybe someone want to ask some question. No?
Yeah, probably they're already tired and they need some break. Yeah. If you would like to type your answers, I will still be in the Zoom for the next 10 minutes. So feel free to just type and I'll try to answer again. So that will be all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Harumi. Thank you for your thank you so much for your inspiring session today. Okay, we will take another short break for 5 minutes. Please return on time so we will continue as planned. Thank you. We are now heading into the 3rd session, creating engaging online classroom with the themes, method, and encourage interaction, discussion, and participation among other learning in online setting. This session will be led by Miss Herlin Putri. She is a lecturer at the University of Indonesia and currently a PhD candidate at the University of Cambridge. The floor is yours, please.
Hai, Miss Fitri. Assalamualaikum
Hello,
warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Selamat
wabarakatuh.
siang semuanya. Thank you for the introduction, and I just need to make sure first if everything is working. I'm using two gadgets at the moment. I just want to make sure that the participants can first hear my voice and see me clearly.
We can see you and we can listen to you carefully.
Okay,
Loud
thank
and
you
clear.
for confirming, was that Miss Rossi or Miss Rosa? Sorry, I kind of like missed that. Okay, I might need some, hang on. Right, so has everyone finished with their break? Oh, there you go. So I'm sure that it's been a very insightful, informative morning for everyone. Hang on, I'm just like, I got this message from, okay. Right, can you still hear my voice?
Yes,
Yes,
we can hear you.
loud and clear.
All right, I just got notice from my iPad saying that there's no audio, so I was kind of like worried a little bit about that. Anyway, I'm just trying to share my screen first. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So I'm sure it's been a very insightful Sunday morning for everyone, and hopefully you guys still have the energy and enthusiasm for this last session. So first of all, thank you very much for having me. Yoga and colleagues, it's an honor to be part of the initiative. Really, this is such a genuine initiatives and very inspiring initiatives. Without further ado, I'm just gonna share some ideas for the sessions. Right. Okay. So creating a lively and engaging online EFL classroom. So it's basically like bringing EFL classroom live in online environment. And the previous sessions have discussed both the potentials and the challenges, right? Okay. So I'll start with some icebreaker, and then we will review some of the key points from the previous sessions, and hopefully, finger crossed, we will have enough time for the mini demo, and then we will wrap up by having some final reflections about what we have learned, probably not just in this session, but also in the previous sessions, because this is some sort of like the final sessions of this event. Okay, right. So a little bit of more background. Besides teaching English, I also teach drama and theater. So you might find some dramatic elements in the activities. Hopefully you are comfortable with that. If not, just let me know. Right. So I have read your names in the chat rooms for sure, but I would like to know a bit more about you guys. So let's start with this. So I usually start this with my students as well, both at UI and at the community, with this simple game. So let's introduce ourselves by choosing an adjective that starts with our initial. For example, because my nickname is Herlin, I'm going to choose one adjective to describe my personality, which is humble. Yeah, hopefully. So it's humble, Herlin. Yeah. And then I need to make a gesture and a facial expression that shows these adjectives. For example, like this gesture, perhaps. Yeah, it's a very Indonesian gesture. Humble Herlin. Okay, so I introduce myself looking at the camera, and then you say your name and then show the gesture. Humble Herlin. Okay, right. So that's very simple, right? Very simple. Now, it's your turn now. Over to you. So you might want to think of an adjective. That's nice, Rage Roslina. That's very cool. It sounds really cool. Right. Of an adjective to describe your name, and then just think of a gesture that might describe that personality. Okay, I give you 1 minute, and then please feel free to unmute yourself and then turn on your camera for sure, because I would love to see your gesture and your facial expressions. Nice, Nisa. Nice indeed. Short, but to the point. Okay. Okay, I think that's 1 minute. Right. You are all professionals. I'm sure you are very creative. So yeah, feel free to turn on your camera and then introduce yourself, your adjective, and your gesture and expressions. Shall we start from Roslina?
Miss, I'm really sorry. I'm on my way, so I cannot really show it off.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, that's the cartoon. Oh, that's the car. Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. Well, the cartoon is already show some expression. So, Roslina, thank you. Next, perhaps we go to Anissa.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Anissa.
Yes, okay. So I'm also on the way.
People are so busy.
Okay, so this is my my expression. So nice Nisa, hello everyone. Hello Miss Herlin. Thank you for giving us some tutorial today. Hello?
Yes.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, it's audible. Yeah. Thank you. Nice, Nisa. That's really nice. Thank you. And be safe.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we go to Lani. Where are you, Lani? Can you turn your camera on?
Hi. Should I show you my Indomie Rasa Rawon that said that I'm a laid back?
I would love to see that. Let's start.
No, thank you. It's okay. How can I show laid back? Like
laid back? You mean like relax? You mean relax?
Yeah, I know, but it's hard. I mean like we are serious in this session, and then I have to show that I'm relaxing. Thank you. But yeah, thank you.
Relaxing, yeah, perhaps with your bowl of Indomie. Okay. Right. So thank you for sharing, Lani. Laid back Lani. Okay. Anybody else would like to share? Let's wait for some more people to join. Mr. Willie, perhaps, or
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So because my name starts with W, so I usually been called Witty Willie.
Oh, Witty Willie.
Yeah. So
Fine.
yeah, Witty
Yeah,
Willie, like
exactly. Witty Willie.
there you go.
Okay. Cool.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Right. Anybody else would like to try? So we have Rage, Roslina, Nice Nisa, Late Beklani, and Witty Willie. Okay. Anyone else? Oh, what a compliment. Roslina said you are more of a wise Willie. Okay. Witty Willie. Yeah. Okay. That's a compliment. That's a big compliment. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to try? Perhaps the other facilitators. Affectionate Ashanti. Oh, nice. Affectionate Ashanti. Can you turn your camera on? Ashanti. Would you like to share your expressions, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm quite confused to find adjective start from A, so I choose affectionate, so maybe like this. I don't know, like this, like loving and caring.
Ah, loving and caring. Okay, that's really nice. Affectionate. Yeah, that's really describes the personality. Thanks. And we got one from oh, Roslina has an idea for yoga. It's yogi yoga. Yogi yoga. Okay, perhaps. Are you doing yoga? Yoga.
Not at all.
Not at all. You're already finding your inner peace and inner soul. Good for you. Okay. So yeah, you can go on with this with your learners, with your students later on, perhaps adjust the activities a little bit. If you want to make more, oh, emoji, this, let me just read a question from Lani. This activity relate with my question while we were in the small group. Can we use picture instead of emoji in Zoom? I'm not familiar with Zoom, I see. But when using Gmeet with my little students, they were eager to share their screens. Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You will know your students better. Yeah, so you can justify the activities for sure. Like, and some students sometimes they're so shy, they don't want to turn on their camera, and you don't really need to push them. And some students might a little bit struggling with the adjective, like finding adjective, and you can prepare perhaps before the sessions a list of adjectives that they can choose from A to Z. Yeah, just in case. Yeah, that's what I usually do when I deal with either younger learner or learner with low ability or lack proficiency in English. That we can help. We can help them, but they won't feel like, you know, being too spoon fed, because they still, you know, try to find the gesture and the expressions. Yeah. Okay, it's also develop their confidence in that way. Okay, anyway, nice to know you guys. So for others, that you can rehearse probably behind the scene. Okay, right. So the next thing that I would like to know about you is your personality or hobby or interest or your occupation, your job. What do you usually do? But I would like to find an object near you, object around you that would show this. Okay, I give you 1 minute to grab any object around you that will show your personality, your hobby or interest or occupation. Find the object first. A motorcycle, where are you, Roslina? Are you on the street or in a garage? Done. Okay, Ima, thank you. Let me know. Interesting. Okay, have you found it? Have you guys found the object? Any object? A picture book. That's really nice, Ima. That's really nice. Yes. What else? Okay, we have Khairunisa. Okay. Right. So give me a thumbs up if you have found your object. So I would know. Give me a thumbs up if you have found your object. Okay. All right. Okay, I found some interesting and funny answers actually in the chat rooms. Okay, right. So let's share again. Who would like to share their object? Oh, Imelda, that's really cute, plushy keychain. Perhaps we should start from, how about we start from Imelda? Can you show us your object?
Okay, I might need few minutes to do that because my camera, I think it will take few minutes to.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go back to you then. So I'm gonna go to Ima first. Can you show us your picture book, Ima? And I'll go back to Imelda later, okay?
Okay, I'm not sure if I can show it with my camera, but here it is.
Oh, that's pretty
The
clear.
title is
Yeah, skunk on a string.
Ah,
So you might see like a little skunk over there
yeah.
through the sky with a balloon. And I love reading it just because, well, sometimes it's actually a sign-in book. You might want to know inside it, it's actually a sign-in book. We don't find any words in it, but we can tell our own stories based on the visuals there.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. Anybody would like to ask a question for Ima about this picture book? I'm curious about where did you get that, Ima?
Well, I was working at a museum back then. It's called Eric Hall Museum in Amherst in America. And I got some book donations so that I brought them all to Indonesia as my book collection, especially probably it would be inherited to my kids later on.
Oh, lucky them, lucky them. Yeah, that's
Yeah, of
good.
course.
Yeah, you're working at the museum, you got, free pictures books. Wow, that's like bonus, yeah. Okay. Right. Anybody else would like to share his or her object? Shall we go to Ririn?
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said before, that my built-in camera isn't working.
Oh, you're not. Okay, it's the novel. All right. So, thank you, Ririn. And then can we go to Khairunisa Zahra? Can you share what you have found?
Yes, hello everyone.
Hi, Khairunisa.
Hi. Just call me Zahra. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Zahra.
Yep. And the item closest to me is this. It's apparently it's called transparent flags, but uh, it's a bookmarking
Mhm.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think everyone's familiar with it as well.
Mhm.
Um, I use this a lot because I do read a lot of books, and the this these bookmarks help me mark the parts that I really like and what I really like to go back to and reread. So this does show my hobby and what I like.
Oh, nice. Seems like you are a very diligent reader, yeah, and learner. Thank you for sharing your tips. Anybody would like to ask a question for Zahra? Anybody would like to ask a question for Zahra? So you like making forensic notes, Zahra, while reading, like detailed notes?
Uh, Well, yes, I just really like to mark the parts that I think are memorable. Like, oh, I don't know, I
Okay,
can't say it, but like we just put it there in the books.
all right. Thank you for sharing, Zahra. Right. Anybody
Welcome.
perhaps also would like to ask another question for Zahra? Anybody would like to ask another question? Oh, there's a question for Ashanti here, Zahra. What color of the bookmarks do you like the most?
If you ask what color, I actually like all of them, but I use them in order from the first one, and I use the orange one and then the uh pink one, and then I just use them interchangeably.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's
Thank you
very
for
nice.
sharing, Zahra. We still have a lot of things to share here. Let's go to Imelda. Are you ready? We're curious about the keychains.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
There you go. There you are.
But I need to, sorry, this background,
That's
how,
all
how
right.
can I stop the background? My God.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all right. As long as we can see the keychain, that would be fine. We will just focus on the keychain.
Can you see this?
Yeah. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, these are actually I really don't know why I like them. I think it's just they're just cute, that's all.
Yeah. Is that a cat?
Yeah, that's actually my favorite because here they don't allow us to have pets. So this is the farthest I can go for pets.
I see. All right. Well, where are you, Email?
Currently I'm in Thailand, in Bangkok.
Nice. What's the weather today?
Oh, today actually it's raining since after long time, after very long drought. So yeah, it's okay. I mean, yesterday it was flooded, so
Oh, okay. Right. Be safe then, but glad that it's raining. Hopefully it's cool off a bit. Yeah, but
yeah,
the
yeah.
flood.
Alhamdulillah, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. That's a really cute cat. Anybody else would like to share? Shall I get Hotma? Coffee. Would you like to, not really sharing your coffee, perhaps you show us your cup of coffee. Hotma? Perhaps Hotma isn't ready. Shall we go to Willie? Willie and his laptop.
Yes. I'm not sure how I can show you my laptop, but I have a picture of it. Let me show you. Okay, so basically it's wait, can you see it? Is it blurry?
It's a little blurry, but we can kind of like
Okay, there you
imagine how
go.
it looks like. Yeah.
All right, so that's a picture of my laptop. So I use it like almost 24 hours, except when I was asleep. If I could use it in my sleep, then I would just do it because like everything, work, Netflix, anime, video call, conference, another work. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
You were glued to your laptop then.
Not exactly glued, but I sleep with my laptop next to me.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Willie. Anybody else would like to ask? Willie and Imelda, perhaps. Any questions for Willie and Imelda? Anybody would like to ask? About Willie's laptop or Imelda's keychain?
Can I comment, not asking?
Sure, Lani.
Yes, so about Imelda with the small animals. Yeah. I think and I think about Willie too. That little animal and laptop, it's kind of, for people nowadays, it's kind of the very good friends that they can do many things for us, and they don't talk back to us.
Yeah.
That's my comment.
Unlike your toddler, perhaps they can be grumpy sometimes. But anyway, thank you for sharing. So if I can just read some more objects mentioned here, we have motorcycle from Roslina, and then we got a car from Anissa, and then Ririn got a novel, and then we have Hotma with coffee, Fita with her books, and then the last one we have Ricky with his game gadgets. So thank you for sharing. So you see, this very small, simple exercise can help ourselves to get to know our students better. Yeah, they will share their personality, hobbies, occupations. Yeah, sometimes you can also modify the lesson a bit. Perhaps if you would like a more elaborated version, you can assign this as a homework. Yeah, so they can prepare beforehand. Yeah. You can ask them to also to find objects that are meaningful for them or objects related to their childhood or their hometown. Yeah. You can, it's a very flexible topic. You can modify it according to your needs and the topics that you're teaching on that day. Okay, so thank you for sharing with me. So they are all very interesting. Okay, right. Now, going back to English class. So let's have a moment of, what is it, rendezvous? Yeah, like we're visiting our past experience. Now, I would like you to remember your English class, perhaps at school or, high schools or elementary or any kinds of English class that you joined in the past, could be courses as well. So remember about the feeling, being in that class, yeah, and participating in that class or using English, speaking English in that space. I would like you to think of something that reflect this experience, this feeling, yeah, in the atmosphere at that time. For example, here I have a sentence frame or a prompt, yeah. I have to complete this, yeah. For example, here, my English class was like a library for me, which I found both informative, very insightful, but also very quiet. Like when you were at the library, you were afraid of, like make sounds or speak out. So it was informative. You're full of knowledge. Yeah, everything is there, but also very quiet. Sometimes even eerily quiet. So that's my impression of my previous English classes. Now, how about you guys? So have a thought for a while, perhaps another 1 minute. Okay, when you're ready, you can unmute yourself and feel free to share. Complete the sentence frame. My English class was like blah, 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 which I found blah, blah, blah. Okay, anybody would like to try? Still
I can start.
Okay, Willie, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I've been told by my students, so my English class like a smooth river, like flowing river, and which I found very refreshing and easy to navigate.
Oh, refreshing and easy to navigate. Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing. Anybody
right.
else would like to share something else? So this was your English class. You're the teacher or you're the students, really?
I'm the teacher.
Oh, you're the teacher. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you can revisit the classes as well when you were a student.
Okay. When I was a student, I think it was almost like a easy to navigate as well, but not a smooth river because I have always liked my English class and I'm blessed with amazing teachers in the past and I really like them and I don't feel any difficulties in learning Englishes.
Nice. Good for you.
Yes, I think I had a really nice teacher that taught us really well, so we could understand it. And besides, I could speak many different languages, so I think that makes it easy for me to work it out.
That explains. Thank you for sharing.
All right.
Anybody else would like to share his or her metaphor? Ashanti. Okay, can you speak? Can you read your metaphor, Ashanti?
Sure. So my English class was like climbing a mountain, which I found challenging, but it helped me to grow because my last English class was in my uni, and I found that it was really hard for me because it was my very first time studying in abroad, and all of my students are international students though, so they have to speak English. They can speak English fluently, and my teachers also are white people. So I think it's very challenging for me at that time because I'm not really good at speaking at the time.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So this is a very interesting metaphor. So climbing a mountain. So we can imagine like the process, might be like requires strength and also resilience then because it's a mountain, right? So it takes a lot of time and energy and the challenges, sometimes perhaps the harsh wind, yeah. But also as Ashanti said, it helps her grow. So it's also rewarding experience, perhaps when you climb a mountain and then you reach the top, right? So it becomes a rewarding experience as well. Thank you for sharing, Ashanti. That's very thoughtful. And let me have Ima here. Would you like to read this out, Ima?
Sure. So I share two perspectives as a teacher and also as a student when I was in elementary school. In the past, I would say that my English class was like a stone, which I found boring and too textual based. Just because like I and my other friends, got a little access to visuals and multimodalities. And basically because I was coming from a village, then the teacher usually used like a textbook just as a guide for them to teach the English concept. But then because it's too textual, we didn't really get a chance to connect, like the English words with the actual objects or concepts that they're talking about. So that's why it was kind of like a stone to me. While when I was a teacher, and now I am a teacher, I think that my English class is like a stair, which I know that I found both escalating and progressive because at the end of my meetings, usually my students will have a chance to kind of accumulate the skills from initial meeting to the end of the meeting and create a project from the skills that they have learned so far.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, stone, just imagine like gray stone, like unmoving, like very static, very dull, it's just there. Yeah, seems like it's unimportant. Yeah. And then glad to know that you find your English class like a stairs now. It's like escalating. So just like climbing the mountain here, there's a progress of reaching something and very progressive. Thank you for sharing. We have another one from Lani now. Can you read it out, Lani?
Sure. So it was a story in my high school. It was boring. So my English class in high school was like jumping in a dictionary because my teacher made us remembering words and using them in sentence exercise, not our own sentence. So it's kind of, we were not being listened to.
Okay, so that's a very deep feeling, yeah, feeling that and I think we can take a lesson from that as a teacher, like how detached lesson doesn't only make students feel bored, but also they feel more than that, they feel ignored, yeah, they themselves feel ignored, yeah, unheard, yeah, which is, I think it's more than just boredom, right? So I think it's creates sense of powerlessness as well.
Yes, that's why I do that in my class now.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Like jumping in a dictionary and then remembering words. So I think perhaps, well, sadly, a lot of learners in Indonesia can still find this relatable up until today, right? How English class can be very, textbook driven. Yeah, it's not that memorizing words are not important. It's just that if it is the only thing that they do every day, of course, that might demotivate them to learn, right? So thank you for sharing all this interesting and very thoughtful and reflective metaphor. and both as students as teachers as well. And I'm sure that's something that we use as what's that, like a stepping stone, something that we build. When we become an English teacher ourselves, we learned, from our past experience of either like really how to be that kind of teacher who help learners to, navigate the stream smoothly, or even from the bad experiences like some of us experienced at school, how not to be that kind of teacher, or how not to create that kind of classroom where EFL classroom becomes a site of boredom, or even a site of this empowerment instead of empowerment. So oh wow, Ricky just shared that his English class was like slaughterhouse. Yeah, very terrifying. Yeah, you see, this is very horrific image. Yeah, of you see like people feel so scared. Yeah, learner anxiety, which sadly is still common problem in today's EFL classrooms in Indonesia. Right. I think I'm just going to go very briefly with this one. If you happen to have a piece of paper, and perhaps you can draw a new metaphor of your desired EFL classroom. So how would you like your classroom with your migrant workers, learners? How does it look like? How you wish it would look like? Just give you another 1 minute. So this is, for you, this is the ideal, EFL classroom that you would like to have. Okay, is anyone ready? Perhaps his or her can share. Doesn't have to be a beautiful painting. We are not Picasso, don't worry. Just like an illustration can be fine, can be fine, yes. Engaging and friendly, okay. All right. So engaging and friendly, how would it look like if it's an object, Imelda? Can you think of I don't know, a building or something that is engaging and friendly, like this class? Oh, okay, like this class. Thank you. So engaging and friendly. Okay. Anybody else would like to share something? By the way, I live next to the mosque, so yeah, that's why the background sound. A safe house, Ririn, that's really nice. A safe house, okay, a safe house. You feel safe instead of terrified. So Max said that he would like to make it a lively class, and he will give the chance to every participant to practice their English without being afraid of making mistakes. And this is a very important point, and it's related to Ririn's metaphor as well as a safe house. How to create a safe, lively house, in our EFL classroom, and also engaging. Yeah. So thank you for sharing. Yeah. Later on in your future class, if you have time, you can have your students draw this metaphor. Oh, we have Anissa. Sure, you would like to share, Anissa.
Oh, hi everyone. I can't open my camera now because I'm a mess right now. I want to share something about the class of English. To be honest, I don't teach people on a group. I always have a private room, private class online.
Okay.
This is what I feel really challenging for me to teach English or even Indonesian or even Spanish. And I feel like my experiences before were kind of really makes me make me kind of proud of myself because every time I teach them, she or he will say that, "Thank you, Anissa, you made me getting excited or even want to speak more. I mean, speak fluent in English." And because it was because we always have private class. I mean, like a really friendly chat. But I don't know when if I have a class like this, it could be really challenging for me. So I would like to ask you about that. How could I be the same person, a same teacher as I am in the private class as I have right now? And I think that's it. I mean, I was trying. I mean, right until right now, I'm trying to make them speak well, not being afraid anymore. I encourage them to just express what you want to say without having worries or even. They always feel like I'm afraid of making mistake, and then they kind of stuttering or even they they know how to say, but they are lack of vocabulary. So it was the problem. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Anissa. And I'm sure it's something that a lot of us can relate. Yeah, this kind of condition learner passivity. Yeah, how sometimes students they choose to remain silent not because they don't know what to say. I mean, not because they don't want to say anything, but they just don't know what to say. Could be lack of vocabulary, and could be because they fear of judgment, both from the teacher or from their peers. As we know that sometimes like young people they can go they like to goof around. Sometimes they when their friends make a mistake, they misspell words or pronounce something wrong, and then their friends will make fun of them, and it's something also that can be terrifying for young people. Or sometimes like direct correction or from teachers can also be terrifying for some learners, especially those with low ability. So yeah, so of course handling a private class and a group class like this would be different, and I hope you will find a way on how to navigate this too. And I hope the sessions that you learn throughout this program can give you some ideas on how to deal with this. Yeah, but what I can just share from my experience that when I deal with this kind of learners who is shy and afraid of making mistakes, the first thing that we need to have is probably like a consensus in the classroom that we can set up in the very beginning of our class. That you talk about class agreement with Miss Mamie, right? Just the same on-site class and online class. I think they all should have classroom consensus or agreements. I prefer to call it agreement consensus instead of rules, especially when you deal with adult learners like this. Well, even with young learners, you can set up classroom consensus, like for example, like what do you think? How would you like to be respected in this class? How would you like your friends to respond when you speak in English, for example? And then I sometimes make like a classroom poster like that, and I write down the words that they say, or sometimes I let them kind of like make the posters themselves and write the words, the agreement themselves. Like for example, not making fun of each other, things like that, and then clapping, give claps when their friends after their friends like doing a role play or reading a passage. Sometimes these kind of simple things can boost their motivation a little bit. Yeah, not only for young learners, sometimes adults also needs encouragement, right? And then I usually avoid direct feedback. So when I have feedback for the pronunciation, I will keep it until the end of nearly the end of the sessions, where I will review all the words that were pronounced incorrectly, and I would kind of like model the pronunciation later on. So instead of like giving them direct feedbacks, yeah, sometimes with younger and low ability learners that can work. Okay, thank you for sharing. And then here we have a very lovely metaphor from Ashanti, a garden, yeah, where every student has room to grow and blossom. That's really nice. Thank you for sharing. And empowering class, yeah, how to make this class engaging and empowering, yeah. Okay, I shall move on to the next topic here. So we all have this desired ideal EFL classrooms, yeah, based on our own versions, that we learn from our experience as well, right? And then if we just connect this to the previous sessions from Ms. Sisil about the potential challenges that might prevent us from creating this kind of space, this desired space that we want. If I can just like point out some challenges that I recapped from Ms. Sisil sessions. For example, diverse background knowledge can, can present challenge here. Your learners may have limited education's background or interrupted schooling, yeah, or even if or when they have enough degree but they may find themselves lack of English proficiency, they could also present a challenge, right? And they have diverse expectations and needs. Yeah, it's a garden full of flowers and plants and trees. They all, have different needs. Yeah, they need different treatments as well. Yeah, and if you have multilingual learners, which I'm sure you will, this even, is a more diverse garden then. Yeah. They might and their flowers, their multilingual repertoire might grow at different pace. They also present a challenge for us as teachers. And then it's also important to take notes about possible trauma and mental health that our learners carry with them and how this might influence their motivations or their ability to learn the lesson. Yeah. And because this is online class and sometimes it's just unavoidable, yeah, limited access to technology. So maybe they don't have the proper device or perhaps stable internet connection, yeah. And also time constraints because they are workers. So they are juggling between jobs, family, other responsibilities. They have a lot of commitments as well, yeah. So these may present challenges, yeah. Right. So the next thing that we need to do then is to consider how these challenges might affect the way we design our lesson for these specific learners, as Ms. Cecil said, it's English for specific purposes, for specific learners. So from her sessions, we'll have learned about and also the events, you learned about migrant workers, the backgrounds, and how they are usually using English for what purposes. And our job here is to kind of like help them to create a space, this English learning environment that can help them, yeah, with their needs. Yeah. Okay, so if you go back to the questions, how might the challenges influence the way we design our online classes? Yeah. Right. So I think we just we can have a wrap up. Some key points that you still remember. This is about the review from previous lesson. What can you remember about the principles of EFL for adult migrant workers? If you can type your ideas or type the key points in the chat room, that would be helpful, and I can recap here. What's the principle, the key principles that you have learned so far? Anybody would like to share something? You can type in the chat room. This is more like a review of what you have learned. Authentic material. Yeah, good. Thank you for sharing. Let me just type. Yeah, authentic materials. Okay. Yeah, authentic materials. They need authentic materials. Thank you, Ashanti. What else? Anybody else would like to share? Besides the materials, what else that we need to keep in mind? It needs to be authentic. Non-offensive terms, okay. So use authentic materials. It's be aware of offensive terms. Yeah. Okay. Get to know your students' unique background. Yes. Understand their background, their unique background and varying needs. And then, yeah, the background, the context, very good. And using digital features to create engaging tasks. Okay, using digital features for engagement. Keep it short. And then agreement with students. Okay. Yeah. So you can, once you open the class, set up these agreements early, yeah, and make it, and when they feel like they are involved in the decision making, usually they will respect the rules, yeah. Rather than we kind of like impose the rules, so you don't have you must not do this and you must not do that, you know, it kind of like top down. But if you involve, you just ask questions like, what do you think we need to have, you know, what agreement you think we need to have in this English class? Or you can ask something like I said, how would you like, you know, people to treat you, or friends to treat you in this space, yeah, to make it like a consensus. Okay, thank you for sharing. So use authentic materials, yeah, because they need English that is practical, situational, and functional, yeah. And it has to be authentic, so it's based on real life applications, and they are very specific learners, and some even have rather vulnerable backgrounds, so we need to be aware of offensive terms and understanding their backgrounds, unique backgrounds and varying needs, and using digital features for engagement, yeah, whenever or when it's possible, and also make agreements with the students. And then if I can add here from Willie and Ima, so be aware of the issues, the migration issues, provide engaging learning experience for learners, of course. And then gender sensitivity, yeah. So yeah, be aware, be culturally sensitive, yeah. And then let the students voice their opinion, true, yeah. Especially because they are, you know, they are adults, yeah. So if I can just add some more things based on these principles, yeah, we need EFL that is practical, then that is situational, yeah, and it's based on real life relevance. So we need to make it meaningful. Yeah, we can make it meaningful, and it's bite-sized content. So do not overwhelm them with too much content. If it's rather long, then perhaps you can, you know, chop the sessions into the lesson into 2 sessions, perhaps, and then personalize the content, asking them to kind of like we had in the show and tell activity, is like a simple exercise, but then it helps you to personalize the content because they're speaking from their own experience. And then make the classroom agreement, as you said, and remember that it's okay to be low tech but high touch, you know, like the tools, the digital tools are there to help you. But as Miss Wemi has warned, that sometimes when it's not possible, don't let discouraged, yeah. The show must go on. What matters in the engaging, you know, activity is the engagement itself, I would say. So even if you don't use too many tools, it's still okay if they see you present. You know, like sometimes it becomes rather dragging when we ourselves as a teacher also, you know, like feel demotivated. So put the life in the lesson and be interactive with your students, be engaging, and then once they can sense that you are present, they can sense that you are there, even though this is like a mediated space through this little screen. But if you are there, they know they can be engaged, hopefully. Yeah. So if you find some technical problems, during the sessions, don't worry too much about it. Yeah. So low tech, but high touch. So you touch the learner. So try to personalize, make it authentic, make it, relevant to their needs. And I think the modules provided by these programs already did that. Okay. So moving on to another topic. This is about adapting and expanding the material. So you have the modules with you, yeah. It's just like to give an examples on how you can adapt the materials to engage the participants even more. So again, since I love drama in theater, so this is another exercise that I usually do this in my drama class, but in English class, this is also doable. Yeah, very doable. So it's about reading with different emotions. So in Unit 1 in the module, you have this topic about introductions and where the speakers of English, they kind of like introduce themselves to one another, they greet themselves to one another based on different contexts like formal and informal, yeah, in general, okay? So in this activity, you can use this activity perhaps before you jump into the dialogue. Yeah. Sometimes, if we just kind of like hand the dialogue to them, it could be a double burden for them, like they think about the language and they will think about their confidence because like role playing, it is fun. It is really fun, but it can be terrifying as well for the students. And if you put role playing in English class in a cold way, in a way that, okay, this is role play, this is scenario, act it out. Some students might feel like, oh, wow, so I have to act in English in front of my peers? No, So there's a lot of pressure, yeah? So role playing is not, it's not fun in itself, yeah? We have, to scaffold it step by step. So we can make our learners feel ready when they have to perform the dialogue or when they have to act out the dialogue, yeah? Okay, so this can be like a bridging exercise before you go on to the main role-playing activity. So for example, you can just pick a statement or a phrase in the dialogue, yeah, and ask them, you show this in the slide like this, and ask them to read with different emotions. Let's try. So we have this one line from Uni, yeah. Okay, I would need a volunteer to read this based on this emotion. Okay, so the context here, Uni is meeting a new classmate in English, in her English course. Still easy. Who would like to try? Who would like to try this? Meeting a new classmate in English course. Anybody would like to try? Ririn, Ima, Imelda, Ricky, just this one sentence. How would you read it? As Uni, who is meeting a new classmate in her English course. Anybody want to try? Imelda? Right?
Okay.
Okay. Off you go.
Good morning. I'm Uni.
Okay, good morning. I'm Uni. Okay, next. Now, can I have another volunteer?
Yeah.
To act out this context. Who's that?
Me,
Is
it's
that
Ririn.
Rani?
Ririn,
Oh,
it's Ririn.
Ririn. Okay, Ririn, let me give you the context. Okay, so the context now is that Uni, hang on. Uni is making a phone call to a hotel receptionist.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Uni.
Okay, so it's more kind of like concise and brief. You see the difference of the emotions, right? Okay, the last one still for Uni. Anybody else would like to try? Any volunteers?
I'm sure Ricky
Oh,
is
Ricky. Okay. Right, Ricky. Are you there, Ricky? You still there?
Yes, wait.
Right, Ricky. Okay, Ricky. So Uni is now introducing herself at job interview.
Good morning, I'm Uni.
Okay. Did you notice the difference? The different tones, different attitudes, right? Okay, next. Now it's a line from Ahmed. Anybody would like to try? Anybody would like to try? I'll give you the contact later for a surprise. Perhaps Lani or Wele.
All right, I could do it.
Okay, Willy. Right. So
Let's see.
Ahmad is now greeting his high school crush.
Okay. All right. I'll try. I'll start. Okay.
Okay.
Hi. How's it going?
Okay. You see, it's a bit smitten, a little bit nervous. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Will. Next, any other volunteers still from Ahmad's line?
Okay, me. Let me check.
Lani.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Lani, Ahmad is meeting his, like his boys, his gangs at the cafe.
Hi, how is it going, guys?
Okay, so it's different attitude, right? Hi, how is it going, guys? Okay, right. Next, who want to volunteer? Who would like to try? Perhaps Lani or Ashanti, Anissa, Hotma. The last one from Ahmed, who would like to try?
Like to try.
Okay, Hotma.
Yes.
Now, Ahmad is meeting his relative who just got a divorce or a breakup.
Pardon, miss? Pardon, miss? Could you repeat that?
Ahmad just met his relative who just had a breakup. How would he say this?
So we can say that hi, I hope that you're still okay.
Can you read the statement here? So you read the
Hi.
line, but with this.
Hi, how is it going?
Oh, okay. So is that how you're going to say to Ahmed?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
Okay, so perhaps I need to clarify here. Ahmed just met his relative who just had a breakup. Yeah, so bad things just happened to his relative. Yeah, anybody perhaps would like to show different ideas? Do you have another idea? So thank you, Hotma. Shall we go to Ima or Lani? Or Anissa?
I can do that.
Okay, Ashanti, how would you say, how would Ahmad say this line in this situation?
Hi, how is it going?
Oh, nice. So you have a different attitude there. So the tone is more concerned, yeah, or caring, like also just very careful, yeah, when asking this question. Hi, how's it going? It's like awkward, it's personal topic, rather sensitive topic about the breakup, yeah. So the tone is, more concerned. So you can use this kind of activities when you would like to teach your students about social contacts, yeah, and how you express language differently depends on who you're talking to, and also the social context of the language use itself. Okay, so that we have another one is from Julio. This line. I'm fine, thank you. Can I have perhaps Lani or Ima?
I can try.
Okay, right. Right, so perhaps you can try these emotions. Julio is bored or uninterested. How would he say this line?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know how to be bored as a boy.
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, you can see that from the yeah, that kind of emotions. Okay. Now the next emotion, the last one. Can we have Anissa or Max, perhaps? Anyone else? Oh, Anissa, yeah. Anissa.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This one is you feel you want to say this rather sarcastically.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. So you see, like the same words, the same phrase can be said differently, depends on the context, yeah, of the situation. Okay, so I think we are almost at the end of the sessions because it's 12:30. Is it, Yoga?
We still have about 30 minutes.
Sorry? Yeah, okay then. Right, so I'm just gonna keep the other activities here and jump to the next final reflections. But don't worry about that because I can share you my Google Drive where I store some sample lesson plans, kind of might not be directly about the unit, but something that you can expand from the unit. Yeah. So for example, in that unit, since it's about introducing yourself at conference, like I just like share some ideas about how you might kind of like expand the unit about the use of English at airports, like give the situations, like let them imagine that the speaker before attending the conference abroad, they would kind of like travel using plan, right? And then create this kind of additional exercise how they can deal with that. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this one and move on to the final reflections of the day. So I will give you some time to reflect on what we have done in these very brief sessions about the meaning of, engagement or being lively in online class. So in your opinion now, what makes an online class feel lively to you? Have a thought. And also think about what will you try in your future class. Okay, I give you perhaps 1 minute to have some reflections. Oh, I have until 1 o'clock. Oh, I have until 1 o'clock, said Yoga. Hang on. Okay. Should I go back then, Yoga? Let me just remind me about the time because I don't want to overtime and reduce the time for the other presenters. So should I continue, Yoga? Okay, I take it as a yes. Okay, so I think you got right. Right. Okay, I still have some more time with you guys, so I'm just going to wrap up the comments here. Okay, let me just read out. Going to um, your answer, your responses to the slides so everyone can see in the monitor. Anybody perhaps would like to share which ideas or activity they would like to try in their next class? Yes, Anissa?
Yes. Would you like to please to go back to the reflection slide, please? Yeah.
Sure.
So I can. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So what makes an online class feel lively to me is when almost all participants participate, which means my class is engaging enough and being a safe space for them to speak and to interact with each other. And then what will I try? Honestly, I got some new uh, insights from your class here. Like in the read with different emotions. Yeah, so I think I will try to use that in my future class, and also some kind of a online game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, online games such as in quizzes or like wheels of, yeah, that kind of the wheels thing. I forget about that, but yeah, I try to use many engaging online applications to share the materials.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Thank you
all.
for
Thank
sharing,
you.
Anissa. If I can recap what people have written in the chat room, we have this. You can see it yourself. Just make the font slightly bigger. Too big. Hang on. Yeah, more or less like this. Okay, this is what people wrote in the chat room. So being, a lively class means it can catch the attention of the whole class, yeah, and it must have this interactive element with digital tools or not. So you have to be interactive to encourage participation, and this is very important. Make your participants feel welcome, that they belong to this class, yeah. Create a community, not just like content. That would be my point, especially when we work with community, vulnerable community. We have to create a class that is not just a content, but it is a community for them. This is a space of learning, a space of growing for everyone in it, including us, the teacher. So, and then use acceptable challenge, yeah. And people also said that when times goes by without us noticing, yeah. So it just suddenly like almost kind of like my alarm kind of rang a little. Okay, it was suddenly almost time. Okay. So I hope the session was engaging for you. So yeah, make them feel like they are learning something. It's kind of like sad when, for example, if you have children and you ask your kids like, how was school? And they would say, yeah, yes, so. Or what did you learn? Yeah, nothing, like it's like full day school, and but they answer the kid like, yeah, it's nothing, that means there's something that is need, there's something wrong, with the schooling. So yeah, so make it meaningful for the participants. Yeah, make it meaningful. And then what else? Lani suggested that it might be good reason to create separate links for each class. Yes, perhaps there's also a good idea. Yeah. And then okay, appreciation. Yeah. So appreciate your participants. Yeah, to never kind of like mock at each other, like we are here to learn. This might sound very simple, but when you work with learners, especially those who are shy, those who have low ability, peer judgment can be very nerve-wracking for them. Like perhaps they at first they will take it, okay, maybe this is just a joke, when they pronounce things incorrectly and then their friends made fun of it. Perhaps at first it's just like something simple, but if you do it gradually, it can be a problem. It can create this rather unsupportive environment. So I think that's the first job that we need to do as an educator, is to make sure that our learning class is a safe space for everyone in it. Yeah. And then appreciation. So you can give it's digital. Of course, you can do it verbally, giving verbal appreciation. You can do it through emoji. Like give like crown emoji if you want to give appreciation, or clap, or laugh, yeah, or any emojis that would engage your participants. Sometimes when it's a game-like activity, yeah, you can also give this kind of like rewarding system to make them feel more appreciated and motivated to join the activities. Yeah, this can also be an idea. Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of materials that you can find online. You have the modules with you. If you want like to use materials online, other materials online. Yeah, again, my suggestion would be to adapt it scientifically. Consider about your learner's background again, and a lot of things. Yeah. And then, yeah, this is what I can share for my sessions. I really hope that you find the sessions helpful. I'm gonna just share my Google Drive where I stored some of ideas about like additional activities, like the supplementary activities with the topic English at the airport, sort of things that you can use perhaps as a bridge, yeah, for this topic of introductions in your first unit. And there's also if you click the Google Drive, there's a folder, and there's also like a sample of a lesson plan if you perhaps would like to design and modify the content in the module to suit your class even better. Yeah, the module have fabulous topics already, so I think you are ready to go. Yeah, I wish you luck for this project. Okay, see you when I see you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Yoga.
Okay, thank you, Miss Herlin.
Thank you, Miss Fitri.
Thank you. Many thanks for the great presentation. Hope it sparked even more excitement in you all. Okay, everyone. Before we close to the orientations, the session, let's listen to recap of the entire session that will be delivered by Mrs. Dina Nuriati. The floor is yours. Hello, Dina.
Okay. Thank you, Mbak Fitri. So it was such a great session, right? So even though we know that each of you already brings valuable teaching experiences, we hope that the 3 sessions yesterday we have helped enrich your understanding of migrations and related contexts. And 3 sessions today provided meaningful insight and practical tools to support and enhance your future teaching practice. And as we come to the end of our ESP for Migrant Activists Orientations, on behalf of Serikat Buruh Migran Indonesia, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you for your energy, question, and openness, and for sure to the speakers, Miss Cecile, Miss Harumi, as well as Miss Herlin, and SBMI managing team who made today possible. Fitri, Anita, Mas Juari, Yunita, and of course, special thanks to Yoga Prasetyo, who initiated this wonderful program and managed everything. So, and these sessions may be over, but the journey is just beginning. Teaching ESP for migrant activists is more than just teaching English. It's about building a trust, understanding real life needs, and empowering people who are often unheard. So let us continue supporting each other as a community of educators and change makers. Thanks again for your participations. We are excited to see the difference you will make later on. Like the saying goes, education is not the feeling of a pain, but the lighting of a fire. So let's keep the fire burning. Good luck and see you on the journey ahead. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mrs. Dina. Okay, dear all, with the conclusion of the recap delivery by Ms. Dina Nuriati, our orientation session for today has also come to an end. As your MC from day one taught today, sincerely apologies for any shortcomings or mistake during my time with you. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm and energy throughout the day. Stay strong, stay critically, and keeping speaking out. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Boleh kita foto dulu sebelum semuanya meninggalkan ruang Zoom.